Hello everyone, welcome to the Lightbringers podcast, episode 43. He says questionably to himself and tries to rhyme and attempt to do the things. Today we're going to be playing for the story What Lies Beneath in Guild Wars 2 and the Dragons. It's going to be an awesome one. I'm looking forward to this. Some mental health themes as well. And I've got my awesome friends here with me to chat about the things. We have amazing people and you will see their faces. And if you're not listening to this on anything with video, you will not see their faces, and that's unfortunate for you and something you should change in the future by watching the VOD. Amazing! Hello everyone, I hope you're very, very well. We have our awesome guests / co-hosts, Rookery, Sushi Mute Bootts, and FORNAX. If you want to give everyone a wave, you are audible now. Just but I just say that you're not.
We're on audible.com
right now, live?
I mean, maybe in future, you never know. That would be cool.
Jeez, I mean, I guess I could read.
on Audible.
That is true. Kroof has got that voice acting going.
That's true.
I could read one of the Guild Wars 2 books to us soothingly today on stream, and Kroof could help. You know, we could trade off.
I want to help. One of my biggest dreams. I'd love to do that.
Whilst we're doing like the story as well.
Okay. Well, we're going to be reading stuff from the story, right?
Well, I mean, there is a lot of voice acting in this, but we can also people can read stuff from the story if they want to. If there's like some stuff there is some stuff which isn't VO'd, so sure. If you want to do that, people can do that. We've got voice actors and actresses in the house, so fuck it, might as well use them. Oh wow, I already swore.
Wow.
Failure.
That was
Jebro
really
was like,
fast.
Let's start again.
Jebro's like, we can't swear anymore because there's a lot of places cracking down on it. Meanwhile, the rest of us are over here like, sweet, innocent, beautiful, saying nothing wrong. Jebro, 5 seconds in, drops F, just F-bomb right there, right
the worst we say is like,
flip.
Yeah. Lactation
it.
is the worst we say, so.
Yeah.
I apologize for that unreservedly. I do.
Everyone, like the comments on that video were just like, not everyone, but a couple of people, but like people started talking about it and they talking about other things, and I was just like,
once you heard, you can't stop talking about lactation.
It's true.
Breasts are powerful. Breasts are powerful. Yes.
Yeah. As they're givers of life, okay? Like they should be powerful. Okay, I'm all for this.
Welcome to the Guild Wars 2 podcast.
This is about Guild Wars 2, and there is a mental.
This is not a Got Milk ad. This is Guild Wars 2.
This is Guild Wars 2. I hope you're
But I'm
also...
glad that we have Jebro on record now saying that he is pro breasts. Very good to know.
Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I'm not sure where else you would be there. Like, how could you not?
How would you be against them? Yeah, exactly. I'm like,
I was worried about Jebro, but I think now we know. It's good.
So many people are worried about me for so many reasons, my friend. Let's do. Oh dear. We've not even done anything yet. We've not even done the intro. Okay, so everyone, we have people here. Rookery, let's do a quick intro, everyone. Rookery, tell us what you do, what you do.
Hi, everybody. I'm Rookery, and if you would like to see content that is always 100% obviously family friendly, super squeaky clean, absolutely appropriate for any and all prospective sponsors, then don't go to my channel because that's not where you'll find it. I'm kidding. My channel's not that bad. We try to stay family adjacent. Really selling myself well here. We do a lot of fun stuff.
Adjacent.
Mostly to MMOs.
Family adjacent.
Family adjacent.
What is that?
Exactly. It's kind of near. It's kind of near, but like also far away.
Next to families and just.
It's adjacent to being acceptable for families to watch. But sometimes it gets a little spicy. We always have fun, no matter what. We love talking about and playing the games that we're obsessed with, namely Final Fantasy 14 and Guild Wars 2. I love MMORPGs, and whether it's story, lore, or any content, casual to hardcore, I am probably there for it and excited about it and can't wait to talk about it with all of you. So if I'm live, you can find me on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv Rookery, ROOKURI. If I'm doing uploaded videos, you can find it on YouTube, which is the same. And if I'm just talking about stuff or updating everybody on things that are going on, or sometimes running giveaways like a lot of us are this week, thanks to ArenaNet and being ArenaNet partners, with this new content in Guild Wars 2. You can find that over on Twitter at rookery_. So that's me. We have a great time. We love staying positive, but we don't shy away from talking about the hard things. And, you know, it's a wild world out there. So it's nice to have a cozy space where you can enjoy the things you love and share that with other people.
Ta-da! Okay. Recruit.
Oh, hi.
Recruit.
Hello, everyone. I am Kroof. I have a YouTube channel where you can find me at Kroof. And I do a lot of Guild Wars 2 videos, and I'm currently working on my review for this patch. I almost said episode, but I guess it's just a patch. What Lies Beneath. And I also stream here on Twitch every once in a while. I'm currently readjusting my schedule, but tomorrow I have a giveaway where I'm giving away 4 community chests and 800 gems, which is 2 gem codes. So that'll be tomorrow. Might as well plug that in today. But thank you so much for having me here. I'm excited to get in and play this story update.
Yes, and if you're listening to this and it's recorded, it might not be tomorrow that people are doing their things.
Yeah,
Just FYI.
yeah, it'll be Saturday, March 4th, 2023.
There you go. Thank you very much. FORNAX is back as well. Also, keep in mind what Kroof said. Chat, let us know what you think this should be called. It's not a episode, it's something else. It could be a patch, it could be a chapter,
like
it could be
episode.
a thing. Well, we can talk about that, Boots. That's you're not chat. So
You mean in game? Whether it's
We're gonna
I thought you were talking about Lightbringers episode number 43.
No. That's an episode. We're not changing that. That's staying the same. I barely remember what episode it is, let alone what chapter, season. I don't even know where we are most of the time. FORNAX, tell us what you do it. Boots is already trying to waylay me.
So, hey, I'm FORNAX, aka the Crichton Herald. My channel is on YouTube, is the Crichton Herald. I make Guild Wars 2 content, and maybe more at some point if I ever get my act together. And I appear on this podcast occasionally when they let me on. So
that's every
me.
week now. So like
most weeks, yes. And I would summarize this episode story-wise as an amuse-bouche. There you go.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that. That's a good
I've
way to put
never
it.
tried that dish.
It's an
oh,
appetizer.
it's a dish.
Oh.
Okay.
Well, it's like a delightful. It's like you're amused, right? Amuse-bouche, but it's actually French. But it's like a delightful little appetizer, essentially.
Yeah, it's like a palate cleanser before the main course. It's something fun for your mouth. That sounds weirder than I intended it to sound.
No.
I'm
It's
sure
not
that's
weirder than you
exactly what you
intended at all. That's exactly what you intended it to be.
It's fun for your mouth.
Yeah.
Oh God, don't do that. Oh God.
I don't care. I can't see chat. I'm in game, so it doesn't matter.
Like,
Oh, I like
if
how
I can't
you're-
see it.
it's-
It doesn't exist.
like the rest of the world. Boots, tell us what you do. How you do it.
And Boots, you could find me at World of Enders on YouTube. I do videos about Guild Wars 2 mostly now. I had Minecraft way back in the day. But yeah, I got videos. Oh, I might make some builds soon. Well, yeah, tell me about it, Kroof. Tell me about it. And what was I going to say? Oh yeah. I might build. I have builds that I have making. I am making builds again. I have them in my head.
Sound
And
like you said bills.
It did for a
and
second.
those to pay, yeah.
Wow.
But other
Boots, are
than
you okay
that,
today?
oh yeah. Also important. In the Discord chat, I have pasted a couple of community chest things that we're going to be giving away on this here episode podcast. So
Wow, thanks, Boots, for telling me all about
no
that.
worries. Stay tuned.
That I can't switch to because I've got you on camera right now, so I can't even switch to it.
Oh, that's weird.
So that's cool. It's not weird. I just can't. Otherwise, I will show all the codes, and then that would just be bad. So how many are there, Boots?
There are 2 codes to give away of
codes.
community chests,
Okay.
which are chests that you open, and there's community stuff inside, kind of like chance in in Monopoly. Like if you land on a chance square, it's kind of like that.
Yeah, I guess so. So please stay here to get drops and also community chests as well. If you didn't know, there's drops on loads of Twitch channels at the moment. Everyone in the directory. If you're not listening or watching live, you're not gonna. It's probably past, and it doesn't matter. A lot of the stuff we're talking about doesn't matter if you're listening in the future. So have fun with your life. We are going to be playing the What Lies Beneath story chapter today, and yes, we will give some stuff away while we're doing things. Probably during the event, that would be a good idea to do, I would say. And yeah, you're making our mods do work, which is just unfair. They're already doing so much, and it's pretty much Reader today. So thank you, Reader. Praise to Reader Geek. Everyone in the chat, please give love to our mods who are awesome and do a lot of work for us. I appreciate it.
Wait, hold on. Am I a mod? I don't think I'm a mod. I could do the work if you made me a mod.
No.
I also don't know how to do the work.
You have a podcast to do. You are on a podcast right now. I know that you're playing like every game under the sun when we're doing podcasts, and that's fine. I don't care. Like, but you're here now, and you're going to be playing Guild Wars 2.
Right, okay.
So this is it, okay?
Fine, Dad.
Yes, I am Dad now. That's okay. So Guild Wars 2, we got a couple of mails when we started this. I think if I start the story chapter again, I should get the email again, right?
That's right. You should.
Okay, I should. Okay, so I can delete that one.
Why not read it?
Well, because I want to start the story again from the beginning.
Okay.
I guess. So
it's just you get a mail. That's the start.
I know, but it's fun, isn't it? Also, chat, and maybe we can pin this or something for later. We're going to be talking about the Black Lion requisition thingamajig as well, which is kind of a big deal for this patch. It's actually a huge reward change, which is really cool. But we did have a new story episode, and that is actually tacked on this chapter, I would say maybe 17. Wait, quit. No, sorry, not deep research. It's What Lies Beneath. What am I talking about? Deep research is the next one. We've not been there yet. It's okay, Bombs. Boots. I just called you Bombs.
Wow.
Bombs is someone in the community.
Please just call Boots Bums forever.
No, Bombs. Bombs.
Amazing.
Oh, everyone heard something a little different. This is exciting.
Did you say Bums? Did you think I said
That's
Bums?
what you said.
I mean, I can call you Bums.
It's better. Two cheeks.
Like butts. No? Yeah, like baby butts, but bums.
I can say Bums.
I will say that in when I play Among Us with my friends, my name on there.
You have friends outside of our group.
I was like, wow, I didn't get an Among Us invite.
That's rude.
How about that?
You really showed your bum there, didn't you, Boots?
I think I'll just end that right now. Okay.
Yeah. But in bottom. Yeah.
None of that is true. I don't have friends.
Great.
You're right. I'm sorry.
Does anyone want to read this mail?
Oh, I just deleted mine. Hold on, let me.
You can read it off my
again.
screen if you want.
No.
You're invited.
No,
I'm feeling like
that's
this
literally
podcast
not.
is so professional. It's running like a well-oiled machine today. It really is.
There's only been almost
it
100
always?
episodes, so we haven't had much practice.
You know what's really a shame? That the character E, doesn't mail us anymore, so we can't call it email. We just have to call it mail.
Wow, I never
Yeah.
made that connection.
And how many dad jokes before we mute you for 10 minutes as a punishment? I'm just wondering.
Oh god.
Oh no, is this part of a new FORNAX, like performance enhancement outline for 2023 Lightbringer podcast?
Yeah.
Honestly, I've not had a lot of sleep, so I'm a bit more salty than I usually am. So forgive me.
Oh
Forgive
god.
me.
Then you usually
this
are.
we can't call it email. So
We're a new
I guess
level.
it's mail-orama.
Oh.
Yeah, it's called
Yeah, for
mail
30 subs, we will mute Boots.
Do I get the subs? Do I get the?
And Boots
Give
has
him,
to
give
learn
him his
ASL.
check.
Boots has to
Give
learn
him his
ASL
bag.
for 10 minutes.
That would be good.
That's
Okay,
all
alright.
he's gonna do. Do you want to read this, Griff?
Oh, come on.
No, let's.
Oh,
let
Boots wants
do
to?
it.
Oh wow, we're getting subs. Okay,
Yeah.
5. Someone take
That's a start. That's a start. There's still 25 more. 25
We've got
more,
25
buddy.
more, peeps, and we'll mute Bates for 10 minutes.
Oh my god.
I'll go take a break.
This was not my intention.
Imagine the
Yeah.
incentive. Now I know how to incentivize people to sub on Twitch. This is great.
I know no one likes me. I'm
Like you. I'd be sad if you stopped talking for 10
Oh no, now an
minutes.
anonymous gifter. Uh-oh.
Wait, we've got 10.
Oh my gosh. All right, Boots, before you get muted, read this letter.
Ghosty Phoenix.
Guess everyone,
5.
you're invited.
15.
Hey, friends.
Let's go.
Enjoying the peace and quiet lately? Me neither. What in the world do people do? If you've been missing my company lately, you know who you are. Meet me at the Red Duck Tea House for some food and drinks. I already ordered lots of sushi and some good food too. Rama. P.S. Sorry for the generic invite, but there are a lot of you, and paperwork isn't my thing anymore. I'm retired.
We're at 21
Rama.
subs.
We're at 21?
Oh my
my god. All right.
What
I'm
have I
sorry.
done?
I'm
What-
sorry.
Oh my god.
You hear from me. I just wanted to tell you all that I never liked you.
22.
Well,
I'm talking to chat.
Boy.
The people paying for subs.
Jeez.
The people paying for subs.
Sure.
Thank you for your kindness in the chat, by the way. Okay, so there was. I'm not sure you read the PS bit, but PS. Sorry for the generic invite, but there are a lot of you in paperwork. Isn't my thing anymore. I'm retired, and we are at the. I'm just going to read the What Lies Beneath little bit here. Head to the Red Duck Tea House in New Kaineng City. Optional, you can buy a bottle of Peacemaker Pilsner from the barkeep Pilkter at the Aquatorium as a gift for Rama. That is in Ratasum. If you didn't do that before,
Well,
you are a heathen.
it's racial specific.
It's racial specific.
Oh, is it
Jebro.
racial specific? Ah, I thought it was. We were talking about this. So if you're a Sura, it's in Ratasum. So where else are we buying the things for other people? Obviously, your home
It's at
city.
any major city, so I went to Lion's Arch.
Yeah. I got mine
Oh.
from Holbrook.
You got yours where?
From Holbrook.
Holbrook?
Oh,
I
right,
got mine
okay,
from
okay.
Divinity's Reach.
I didn't
There
have
you
any
go.
little fun like extra voice lines or anything. It was just like it was just like the option. Would have been cool. I mean, I guess we do when we're in here anyway. But I didn't get it. Should I go get it? I don't know.
I
need
scored
to
a
do.
drop, everybody.
That's what happens.
Hey.
Hey, I just claimed it.
I really liked though that they had this little touch in there because it felt like we got to share so much of Canthan culture because like obviously we're coming in and we get to eat with Rama and like, you know, those sorts of things. But it dawned on me going into this that one, it's nice just to have options that relate to your character, their context, their story, especially later on when we haven't had quite as many of them versus like the personal story. But I also really liked that we were bringing something that is about like our life and people and culture to them because I mean Cantha has been closed off for so long, so it's fun that you know you bring something for your friends but you're also like, hey, this is a little taste of home for me and you get to try it too now, which I thought was delightful.
How many subs are we at?
We're about 23 now.
Oh boy.
I mean, I was pretty much joking about that, but you know,
chat's
I mean,
just
now I
gonna
feel like I have to
flooded.
kind of do it.
Hez Gazelle is like really into this.
Yeah.
Hey man, I mean, this is what it's about, right? This is about the fun. We're gonna go into the story instance, a raw deal, and we're gonna go and do this together. So if you've just come in as well, welcome to the Lightbringers podcast. If you've never been here before, I know we've got a bunch of new people in Twitch directory today. If you, this is for the live stream more so than anything else. If you're not sure about drops, do !drops or ask in the chat and make sure your things are connected and all the stuff. But I'm going to be a bit quiet now because we got the story going. So
She's been busy researching with Lady June. Biomechatronics, alternative energies, fascinating tech. Commander! Glad you made it. You look exhausted.
So, what's this all about?
Wait, are you getting engaged, Rama?
Yeah. Surprise. I'm getting married to that sushi roll.
But you don't like sushi. Is that heart-shaped?
You should be a detective. Now, please, eat. I
So no,
sure
wait.
don't want it.
Was that a sarcastic comment or is he actually getting engaged?
No, he is not getting engaged. He was
No.
just being sarcastic. In fact, he has been stood up by his date and most of his friends at the saddest party Tyria has ever seen.
This is so sad.
It is
And by the
sad.
way, I realized later that the reason why this is happening is, well, because he's a policeman. People don't like that, but also
He's retired.
He's retired now. But I think the issue is that this is the impetus. This is why he is feeling like he can join the Friends Detective Club, because he has no friends and he wants friends. He wants to be very
that's
sardonic. He wants to be very sardonic about the Friends Detective Club and be like, oh, whatever, man. Yeah, okay, I guess I'm coming along. But really, he just wants friends.
If you have the opportunity to join the FDA, you should take it.
Yeah.
That's true. That's very true.
On the upside, he's also pulled the waiter, like, completely if he wanted to. Like, if you carry on playing this, then yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. That is one thirsty waiter over there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Oh
my
yeah.
God,
I
and
mean,
they added a platter. Oh, when I first played it, the platter on the waiter's hand wasn't there, so I was just like, oh, he's serving. He's just like that all the time. No platter on it. I'm like, wow.
Really?
Wow.
That's awesome.
Pointed.
It's actually
Yeah.
very cool that wasn't there for some reason.
Oh, the waiter is Liam O'Brien. That's cool.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We confirmed it on, Reedy confirmed it the other day with Bobby. So if you've not done this, you can go achievement, fun facts thing, go and eat all the things. Well, it's not fun, it's there, it's pretty bad. And also pet all the cats. Is everyone ready if I kind of go through and talk
Yes,
to the NPCs?
The fact y'all are not roleplay walking. Wow.
yeah, I know. FORNAX is over here showing us all up.
Oh, yeah,
So
true,
immersed.
True. Great to see you. Glad you showed up at least. Hoping for a bigger turnout? Question mark. That
There are
was
some
from me.
folks I wish were here. But people are busy. Cleaning up, traveling, running a government agency. I get it.
So that's his girlfriend, right?
Yeah, that's man. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had briefly forgotten until chat reminded me when I was playing through, and then I was like, "Oh right, this awkward boy trying to get with is with Detective Min or Captain Min? Captain Min?
I don't know her title.
don't
She's
remember
like
the
moving
title.
up in the ranks, I think.
Yeah.
Or a captain or something.
So wait, is this, by the way, is this like his awkward way of going on a first date with Min? Is this like, it's like, I've invited all my friends. Why don't you come too? We're all going to the movie together, you know?
That explains the
kind of-
heart-shaped sushi, doesn't it? Oh,
Yeah.
sad boy.
I know
Oh,
it.
dear.
He requested that sushi be custom made and had strict instructions on this too. And like whether or not he and Min, like there's, from my impression, like maybe they had a past, maybe they hooked up, maybe he wanted it to be something more, but I think you can read into it in a lot of ways. He could just straight up have a crush on her and she's been so busy with work, she's never really acknowledged it. Like he's definitely pining and she is definitely doing many other things except for him.
Except for
Wow.
Yeah.
Remember,
yeah.
everyone, twitch.tv/rookery. If you want to go and watch the
Family
very
adjacent.
family adjacent streamer. So,
Well, Rook has a point. How else are families made?
oh,
you
that's
know?
true. That's true. And we are pro breasts as well, apparently, so which we were talking about earlier.
Definitely.
Why are we like this? How did we get to this
The
point?
internet, we're never going to have it back on the Guild Wars 2 channel. I hope that the ArenaNet
sorry.
people are watching this, because a lot of people were like, we want to watch this to note how well we did with the mental health themes in our storyline.
So sorry. Okay. From here on out,
No.
this is a clean podcast.
No, please don't promise things that we can't keep in even the next 5
Breaths are
minutes.
wonderful for people's mental health. Breaths are
I feel good.
amazing.
That's
Just
true.
looking
Fine
at
as well.
them, sleeping on them, occasionally touching them if you have permission. This is all great. This is great for your mental health, honest.
True.
25 subs.
Oh my gosh. I did want to say though,
25, you
getting
said?
back. Yes, 25. Actually getting back to the topic of mental health in this episode, one thing that in my playthrough I had a moment with was when you walk in and Gorik says, "You look so tired." And at the time, I was like, wow, Gorik, thanks, bud. Jeez, okay. Like, fine. But within the greater context of the episode, I actually think it's a really interesting little tidbit that kind of contextualizes everything that's like going to come, which I thought was a really nice touch here.
I do want to know how long has it been since the events of End of Dragons to now?
Oh, we can probably check in the timeline.
I don't think that has been a great deal of time. That this isn't months and months later. This is like maybe a couple of weeks, I think.
Yeah, because I assume that's why he's exhausted.
It's the same year, so at least we don't know months.
Same year, probably the same month, I would imagine.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna talk to Gorik. Great to see you, Commander. Quite a party, isn't it? Ha ha ha. How's timing?
June keeps her quite busy, and she wouldn't have it any other way. Though I do wish she would take
I like
more
how the
breaks.
commander just doesn't engage in what Gorik originally said to him and just goes straight to house timing. It's like,
because he was
quite
rude.
a party. Quite a party. No, I don't care. Just house timing.
Yeah, we have to enjoy the drinks and stuff. That's what we have to do for the next thing. Oh my god, the tea. The tea emote. The drinking tea emote.
It's cute. I love it. It's very good.
You need to get an Asura recruit. Like, look at the Asura drinking the tea. Like,
I love the eating the ramen emote. It's so good.
Asura's drinking tea is the best.
I actually really like the Norn tea.
Okay, let me look at the non-tea.
Norn tea is really cute. You smile so happy, hand on hip, one teacup clutched in your hand that's so big it like swallows up the whole teacup.
Oh wow, they're not messing about. Yeah, they're like holding the whole thing. What? That's such a cool.
Cute.
And the human one, or the Silvari one is two hands. The human one is two hands as well.
I like how my character is like extremely poised and composed when he drinks tea, as opposed to doing anything
Detective
else.
Agency.
We need a char
It's
here.
timing. I'm putting you on broadcast.
Oh, here we go.
I'm at Rama's party with the commander and Rama.
Oh, right. Sorry I couldn't make it. So, listen to this. Yao told June that the Jade Brotherhood discovered some super high-powered jade deep in a mine. But Yao told me Chomu said something strange is going on. Aggressive creatures, missing Brotherhood. Sounds like...
An opportunity.
Yeah, I was gonna say problem, but...
It is a problem. A disturbing one. I'm going to check it out. Who are you talking to? Is that Gorik?
Okay, talk to you later, Timey. This is it. We're doing this. The Friends Detectives.
Wait. You can't just decide you're a detective agency. This is Cantha. There's paperwork.
I filed the application weeks ago. Copies are on the table. Look.
He's an Asura. Come on, man. Like, seriously. He's organized. What is this? What Rama is like not on it. Like, I thought it was a detective. Did not look up what like Asuras are like. And then we've got the application for
The Ministry of Investigatory Services hereby grants the Friends Detective Agency a duly recognized partnership.
But nobody's hired us to do anything. Who'll pay us? And that name is terrible.
That name is
discuss
amazing.
the name
it's
later.
fantastic.
More importantly, we need to build a reputation. Besides, if there's a new power source, shouldn't we know about it? Or do you think we can trust the Brotherhood to do the right thing? And what if Yao gets into trouble? We can help, right, Commander?
You're not wrong.
Think of the exposure. I can lead the investigation, with your input, of course. We'll have cases pouring in no time.
Well, this party is a complete bust. Let's head to the mine. Take some food with you. It's paid for.
So based on the application forms, is the Friends Detective Agency just Gorik and Rama right now?
I think we would be included in.
I don't know if we are. We're not on the official forms.
Well, he's applied to. You need like a secondary applicant name, but like it's an agency, right? So it's like a business registration.
We're just newly hired.
Yeah. I mean, I think there was some conversation about it at the end of Dragons, right? There are like some optional dialogues and things, I think, around Arborstone, I want to say, where at the end as the credits roll, or like, you know, around that time, you can talk and there's discussion of it. And I felt like at the time, Jory and Kaz were tangentially connected to it, but I'm not positive yet. I mean, I guess we just have to see now that things are kind of, the dust is settling and people are doing their own things, and they obviously have their own plans with all of the wedding and everything that happened. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see this cast come together and Yao becomes a part of this maybe more officially. And
definitely somebody who's able to detect lies is going to be helpful in a detective agency with
she remembers that she can do that.
It's kind of funny, when I first walked in here and I saw all the heart-shaped stuff, I thought, is this like a food tasting for the girls for their wedding? I was like, oh my god. And then I was like, oh no, it's not. Guys,
oh my gosh, Rama is their party planner. He's their wedding planner.
That would be cute.
That would be cute.
I thought for a second that Rama was trying to flirt with us, and I was like, did you do this for us? Like, what?
Wow, you can romance Rama in the first like chat. That would be pretty.
I mean, we went through the love tunnel with Rama.
That's true. There was that. There was that.
So the groundwork is there.
That's true. What do you want to do, peeps? Do we go to the next part, or should we go through each of the voice line for each thing, for each person?
I'm not sure we gain too much else from these.
Not a massive, other than like
maybe
Yao one.
I would say Yao, because
I feel like
Yao's a character that we didn't get too much of in End of Dragons, so any morsels of Yao is good to kind of like set up their
morsels of Yao.
Okay,
morsels of Yao. New currency coming next patch.
The commander asks, "What do you think of Yao?" To
Resourceful,
Rama.
ambitious. Though I get the impression they've got a lot going on. Not so sure about the company they keep. Sorry. I don't mean you.
That's basically it. I think Rama is like kind of warms up to Yao a little bit more in this episode, generally, it felt like. Not that they were like disliked each other, but like he seems very guarded, obviously for good reasons.
Rama is very hesitant about Yao's connections to the Jade Brotherhood. Because obviously, like, serving within a governmental authoritarian kind of figure within the city, I think the Jade Brotherhood, who obviously like escaped out from underneath you know, the collaboration and work with oh my gosh, why is my brain spacing for a second? Yes, with June and her organization, to then go and like do no holds barred, like research and to create whatever they want to serve them and serve their own purpose and their money. And yes, with that like history of the gangs and gang wars and everything, not even just in this era, but in previous eras in Kaineng, I think that he sees the Brotherhood as like the antithesis of all the order he has upheld for so long. So he's very like on the fence about Yao's connections, not only to the Brotherhood, but also even later to something like, you know, June, and how ambitious she is in her pursuit of, you know, corporate progress, I guess. So
he's also coming off the tails of the biggest, I guess, betrayal of his life, possibly, with Minister Lee becoming a criminal. So he's lost his mentor and probably his faith in the kind of bureaucracy that he's been upholding. So he's kind of like in a transitional moment and probably feeling quite vulnerable as a human being after that betrayal.
He's feeling quite vulnerable after that betrayal and goes right into a party where nobody attends it.
Yeah, that's true. He's having kind of a rough end of the stick at the moment.
I'm telling you, that's why he's joining the Friends Detective Club. He needs someone to rely on.
He does feel lonely. Yeah, I can imagine.
It's not like he's doing
that.
anything else.
Well, I mean, isn't like the normal like the normal storyline for a detective, like they're kind of lonely, kind of loners a lot of the time? They're detectives.
Well, loners
like,
and lonely aren't necessarily the same thing.
And
That's
incredibly
true,
thirsty. Lonely and thirsty is the detective trope, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He walked into my office.
Yeah. I love that shit. I love that shit.
Okay, we're gonna leave the instance. We're going to the dock. Stitch a ride on the rail. Okay. So this was cool.
That's what they did with Marjorie. Yeah. Oh, yeah, sorry.
This was cool. This is like going to I think it was the southeast part of New Carnex, so like we're going to go into a mine underground in Ender Dragons, which I wasn't really expecting. I'm sorry, I've got to get that chest. I have to get it. I have to.
I have a question for you, Jebro.
Sure.
Do you want me to continuously make dad jokes to get the last 4 subs?
My gosh.
That's really up to you. I don't feel like I need to ask you to do that.
True, that's true.
Jebro over here secretly just selling all of Boots' dad jokes. Just
Everybody goes under the bus for a sub.
I mean,
Let's be
we
clear.
should be
Let's
charging for
clear.
this, really. I mean, it's quality entertainment, and to be fair. Make sure you please go and subscribe to Boots' channel on YouTube as well as Twitch and all the things, please.
We get 100 subs.
Or
Boots
don't.
will wear a ball gag next time. Yay!
Wow, Jesus Christ!
I wonder if they have
I'll wear a horse bit.
FORNAX!
I'm sorry. What? Did I say that out loud? Sorry.
Wish
Lord.
so good. We were so
God.
family
Jesus.
adjacent for so long.
You can still.
My
be family
dreams of us
adjacent
ever
with
getting
the bug,
featured on the Guild Wars 2 website are slowly being dashed.
Look. We know how to be professional. Absolutely. In the right setting.
In the
is
right
this
setting.
our setting? This is our house.
Hey,
This is our house.
hey,
And our
honest-
profession.
yeah,
You know
that's
what? Some professionals wear ball gags a lot. Okay.
we don't shame on this channel, okay? The things
No.
like we welcome.
Sex
Okay.
workers work and ball gags cost
you
money,
can-
people.
All right, yeah.
You can use it as a paperweight. It's fine.
I love
Hi,
it.
everybody.
Bloody hell! It's only Friday. It's a bit hot for me at the moment. The weekend.
Where did everyone go?
Calm
I
down.
was too busy
Where
thinking
Where
about
did
ball
everyone
gags. I
go?
lost you all.
You've
What the
got way
hell?
too much other
my
stuff going on your mind right now. You need to come
Jebro,
to the southeast.
why did you name your mech Weens?
It's from a movie, one of my favorite movies as a kid. It's called Batteries Not Included, and there's a little robot. And if you've never seen it, it's a very cute, like, family
Isn't that-
movie.
Yeah, it's like a little similar to that other one, right?
They're alien robots that got left
yeah,
here, and they're
yeah.
little they're really tiny, and they're really cute, and they can build things back from scratch. So they can build and it's basically about a big building, like hotel, that is in the middle of this area, which has been bought up by like corporate greed, and they keep it up, and they like rebuild this house. It's very sweet. It's a very sweet movie, and Weems is one of the robots. It's just a childhood movie that means a lot to me, so I called my robot
That's
Weems. So yeah. I
Aww.
think actually,
Now
Weems, I'm not sure if that's 100% correct. It might be a different movie. But anyway, still a good movie.
Now we are transitioning into the next map, and I want to point out
Yes.
that I actually really like the way that lore-wise we get to this. We take the train that is
Yeah.
utilized to transport jade and goods. Now I just really wish that we had like a cutscene showing
Of
us
us
the
getting the
train, or like the train
Yeah.
shot leaving New.
Because that
New
was cool.
Kaineng.
We had
Also,
that.
I'd like to point out
Yeah,
that
before.
this whole rail system with the things on it doesn't make any sense.
You know, it's jade powered. It doesn't.
Jade
But
powered.
there's like a little tunnel here and this giant thing.
No,
on the
I
rail.
think up there you have like the light. Oh wait, no. What? There's so many
It's a crane.
methods of
It's like a-
transportation that
Technically,
is used in Kaineng.
Boots is very correct about this because this was exactly my fault, like my thinking as well. Because like there's got to be a train. Now I think the only way that this is okay is the fact that
is that there's another train that comes through
Yes.
into here.
Yes,
And then like
Exactly.
gets things deposited where I am over here.
that's
maybe.
right. That's right. So
And
that
then
that
goes
crane
back.
can pivot probably, hopefully, maybe with another device that we can't see.
I do love the idea of some kind of cutscene though, where you're like on the train,
Absolutely.
and I don't know, like Yao is tootling on some kind of equivalent of a handheld device, gets some kind of all-time new score, like all-time high score. Rama is being pestered by Gorik, and like gives him something, some kind of detective training pamphlet or something to distract him. That would be so cute. And you could have even had a moment there, I think, to emphasize further the maybe mental health aspect here, or like if you cut to the commander, or you have that moment where the commander like looks out the window and maybe they sigh, or they look like we get a sense of that, perhaps context of tiredness that Gorick picked up on, but we don't know yet why that is. I mean, either way, I still like that this connects, but I think that would have been a really cute little cutscene to get some more character moments.
There's definitely, so overarching here on this episode, because of the fact I think that it seems as though we're only going to get one more episode before the next mini expansion or whatever. It feels as though this is going to be. I think so.
I think we're getting two more.
No, I think you're getting one.
Okay.
You think one? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But so what was I saying? I forget now. Okay.
Oh wow! Wait. Did I derail you?
I think you did.
Has the derailer become the derailed?
Yeah. So.
Sorry.
Actually, this is a conversation I think maybe for the end of the episode. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
See, I just want to note that at the beginning, I was like, so I don't think we're going to be able to get through the entire story episode during this podcast. We've only done the first instance. I reckon I'm going to be.
I think there's only 2 more instances.
It's
so
okay.
let's go.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do it.
We still got to do the event,
Can I add
though.
something? Can I add something? So, when you're dealing with like stress disorders, it's generally not in the fray. It's not in the thick of the battle where you have that kind of hit you in the face. Yeah. Especially when you're kind of being traumatized, it is in the quiet times. It is in those quiet moments, in the lulls in between, that things start to like creep in around the edges. That's very, very true.
Yeah.
Also, I want to preface this with a very serious conversation for a moment as well. There will be mental health themes on this podcast from now until the end probably. So if you are you don't like or don't want to hear about depression, PTSD, complex PTSD, and other things, this would be a good time for you to peace out, because I don't want to trigger you or re-trigger you or talk about things which you are concerned about. So please, you're welcome to either stop listening or, just AFK and mute the thing if you want to drop still. But just like as a mental health clinician, it is my responsibility to just say that as well, as an ethical person within this industry. Yes, so make sure that's the thing.
Krupp, would you like to be Gorick or Rama?
There you go.
I'll be Gorick.
Okay, for the stuff we just missed. Does anybody else like to be Rama?
I'll be Rama.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay, wait, you're starting. Sorry,
I did miss. Okay, Gorick says, I'm afraid my knowledge of healing is mostly theory-based. Detective, are you trained in mouth-to-mouth resuscitation?
You can just call me Rama, since I guess we're both detectives now.
Thank you, Rama. I don't know, I don't have a surname or honorific per se, but even if I did, you could still call me Gorick.
Thanks.
Good job.
How was that? Was that exceptional?
Very
perfect. That was amazing.
He has a pulse, but it's weak.
Any sign of Yao? Or anyone?
No, but we haven't been here long. Besides this guy, place is a ghost town.
What if that's Yao? We need to investigate.
You two stay here and tend to him. I'll take a look.
Question.
Okay.
Can you hear me talking when this is going on?
Yeah.
You hear my character. I haven't done story with other people since like launch.
Yeah. Sometimes it's a grab bag. Sometimes your own character talks in other people's instances. Sometimes it's the other person.
Right. Okay. Just making sure. I completely forgot, actually, honestly. So we're just killing things. Go on, by the way. Wait, there's a bit.
Yeah, okay.
No, the bit's gone.
By the way, so I'm running the Spectre heal, but importantly, I hope you guys enjoy might, because this is the easiest way to give 25 stacks of might I've ever seen in the game before.
Oh.
It's like I press a button several times and it's over. It's just
And the protection is not AoE. You were right.
Yeah, the protection was never AoE. I was of course right, because I am always right, but
Sag.
Anyway, continue.
Thanks, Boots.
Thanks for the assist. This is Finn. I programmed him to be a fast learner, but I guess he adopted too much of Cholmu's management style.
We told Cholmu, positive reinforcement. Lasted about 15 minutes. Then he went back to his usual abrasive self.
I heard things were going off the rails out here. Thought I'd drop by, make sure everyone's okay.
Really? What have you heard?
Some of the crew are MIA. Not sure if they're walking off the job and sticking it to Cholmu, or something worse.
My team's still here. But a guy locked himself in a room, yelling like he was possessed. Or, I don't know, maybe stressed out. And the animals are acting up. I know, it sounds stupid. I thought the veterans were making it up to scare the newbies.
Cholmu did say
Oh,
the
that's
wildlife
interesting.
out here
Even the
is
animals
spawned
are
from
acting up.
Jebro himself.
He's told you more than he's told us. I bet if you ask around the camp, you'll hear more.
So they don't only, whatever it is, doesn't just concentrate on like higher beings, I guess, or like humans and.
It's
With, like,
altering
a
like
complex
generally
consciousness.
Yeah, it's altering like your processing and
Yeah.
cognitive.
It's like the
also-
Higgs boson field, Higgs boson field. It's just the closer you get to it, the stronger it is.
Yeah. It's also interesting that with Finn, I mean, we assume here because Yao says that Finn is malfunctioning in this sense, I guess you could say, because he was taught, or like the examples of like what was happening like around him like affected the actual Jade bot's personality,
Yeah.
temperament, etc. So like, is that truly because Cholmu was like abrasive around him and the bots like soak things up like children almost? Like, do they develop their own personalities? We've kind of seen bits of that. Or is it just straight up that they're mimicking what's presented to them? Or is it possible that they are also being affected somehow
I
by
think they're also getting
energy?
affected because
Yeah.
the bots got affected. The Jade bots got affected the first time around with the Void and Suwan, right? So I think they are getting affected.
And
Yeah.
that guy's
I mean,
dog
if,
as well.
if Jade is if Jade is a conduit for energy, then they will be affected by the ambient energy in the environment, which is not just chaotic; it's other as well.
True. Jen,
No,
did you know that you can...
spoilers. I don't know.
Yeah,
Are we
did you know that
spoiling?
you
Are we
can...
spoiling?
I think we're
Well,
spoiling. I mean, we're playing it, so I would assume we're spoiling.
Yeah.
I mean, this. Yeah. Did I know that you can?
Find the dog and bring the dog back to him.
I did not know that. No. So maybe you can tell me where that
yeah.
dog is.
It's up on this ledge, but somebody is actually ringing our doorbell. I'm so sorry,
Yeah,
and
sure,
I need
no,
to go
no,
let them
go,
in.
go,
because I don't
go,
think
go.
the Mom's getting it. One sec.
Go. You're fine.
So this part of the episode where we go around asking different people, I think it's cute. I think it's harkening back to detective shows where you go ask the local guy who doesn't want to talk to you about a certain situation. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah. But we don't really get much from it, I don't think.
I think
We
it's
just wait for someone to
reinforcing-
scream again, basically.
I think it's mostly just reinforcing the instability of this new
Yeah.
haze magic.
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say is though that Friends Detective Agency, ideally, what I was hoping for like a fun detective kind of thing is you actually do detective work, but in this case, it's just kind of like the veil of detective work, and that's fine. I didn't know if I should expect any more than that, but it is what it is.
It reminds me of that Path of Fire stuff we had to do by the Oasis City with the refugees, and you had to go around and talk to them and give them different things and that kind of thing.
Oh,
it has
that
very,
part.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's very much the same style of mechanic. Like you see that in a couple locations where you're trying to like help people out, but it's kind of framed within this actual story beat through here, trying to almost like, gain some kind of connection or trust with the different Brotherhood members. I mean, I would love to see an MMO that really does go ham in the like, you have to do a detective thing and put together your deductions and see if it was right.
Yeah, they do
But
it a couple of times in the game,
Yeah.
but like very shallowly. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's hard to make it go much deeper than that, considering that like you can't have like a fail game state, you know? Like
yeah,
you can't.
exactly. That's the problem, right?
Yeah. But I mean, I think it's kind of a fun atmosphere, and oh my gosh, I love this area. I love the kind of like golden hour coloration that's like the sunlight falling across that like vague haze in the distance. It's very cool. And then these like massive towering chunks of jade. I think it is a really great like setting for the start of this.
I mean, the obvious best thing in this patch is the doggo mount. Doggo mount!
You really dyed that dog a powerful color combo, Jeff.
It's End of Dragons colors. I just dyed it. I was like, I didn't want to like do it on stream for too long because it was purple, but like it's the colors of my character kind of.
So
I'm so tempted to get it because that is my dog. That's what my dog looks like.
Aww.
It's smaller.
What is your dog?
It's a Pomeranian, which is a Spitz, which is that's a Samoyed, and they're all basically the same breed but different sizes. So they're all kind of Spitzy.
Face reminds me of a corgi a lot, but not the rest of it because they got short legs. Okay.
So there's a achievement to talk to all the people. Do you want to do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna talk to this person down here. And we have to get, oh, wait.
So they all
you have to donate free gold. Oh, I donate free gold, it's fine.
Yeah.
How about the fact that
That's wild, by the way.
I know.
In charge, I will never know.
They said inflation correction. Here we come.
Yeah.
I could not believe she just takes 3 gold from you and that's it. I was like,
and does nothing.
She's had 6 gold from me now.
I would body her and just steal my gold back. I'd be like, how dare you?
But isn't it funny though that they're right next to a table where they're like betting and there's like card games and stuff? I just thought that was pretty good. Like that makes sense, I guess.
I think the sass and the absolute no forks given of the characters that we interact with actually saves this. It makes it quite a fun experience.
Yeah, they're the
none of them give a flying fudge.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The character writing and voice acting in this patch is very, very well done.
Yeah. Camphor is like more sassy than Tyria, I think. Like the rest of Tyria.
What now?
I'm like,
I would say definitely, Kroof, you're right about the NPCs. I think there were a couple of times when I was on my Norn that I was like, would I have said that the same way? I don't know. It's a little bit off, but not quite.
Did someone grab the bananas? The plantain things, or whatever they're called? The person at the tent. I think someone did.
I still got 3 more. Don't talk to the next thing. I still got 3 more people to talk to.
Is it like personal, or because mine's gone now for that person?
It's personal.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because I can't talk to that person anymore. So I don't think so.
Oh, and someone just took my pickaxe. What the heck?
Yeah, so like, I think it's like only one.
Person.
It might count if everyone, because there's 2 left. So
I think it counts.
Yeah.
For everyone.
Oh, that's nice. I like that.
If
Yeah,
that is the
cool.
case, let's get those 2
it
done.
did.
Oh,
Yeah, I just got the
I pulled a kappa.
I think I already did it then.
Oh yeah, I already did the
This
achievement.
needs refreshing water.
Oh wait, there is actually one more.
I got the
person.
water.
Oh no, there is one more person. Yeah. Oh, so
I
you
like
must
that you
have.
can...
Yeah, sorry, go on, Rick.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Good.
Teamwork
Group
makes the dream
Look at
work.
that. I
Wait,
like
you
that.
didn't do this the first time? How,
I know.
what
To
the
be honest, I
hell?
did do it the first
I
time.
didn't do it because once it stops, if you go investigate the source of the scream, you're not allowed to do the optional stuff.
Yeah.
So, like it cut me off right away.
That's what happened to me. I had 2 left, and I couldn't go back to do it. So I was like, shoot, I'm gonna have to like go back after this, and then I can talk to more people. But I actually really love that you can tackle it together, because that's something that I feel like a lot of MMOs are sleeping on. Where even if we can do another dramatic voice acting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could be Chulmul.
I was gonna say, this actually gives me a second to say what I was gonna say before all the dialogue
Oh
started.
my god, it does.
Which is that I actually really love that not only from the get-go of Guild Wars 2 have they allowed you to play through story with people, but I really love that I think they can even expand that more, right? Like, if you're in an instance, you should be able to I mean, of course, you don't want to like blast ahead and completely like ruin things for whoever the primary instance holder is. But like, if you're playing with friends and there's like a bunch of objectives on a map, I do think you should be able to do what we exactly just did, where you go around and people can investigate and they can say, hey, did you hear about, okay, well, but this person didn't have anything or whatever, and then you can still get the achievement for it. And this really feels like it was made really nicely for like a group of players to come in and have a story beat here, as opposed to, you know, it being something where either you can't watch cutscenes alongside or see dialogue like many MMOs won't let you do, or you can, but you're just like there, you know.
No, I agree. There's even in Guild Wars 2, there are so many instances where if you're not the instance owner, you can't interact with any of the story steps, and in this case, you can. I like it.
Yeah, it's good. They're really holding to their core tenet that more people is more fun. That whenever you see someone coming over the horizon, it's a good thing, not a bad thing. It's not a competition. It just elevates the game and means you can do more stuff. And they're introducing that in more instances. I think it's wonderful.
Which they did from the beginning of the game, I guess, as well, to a degree, right? Because, like, you know, as always, like, the point was always, if you hit something, you get XP, but also someone else hits the same thing, they also get XP as well, which still, in new MMORPGs, like, that isn't the case. Like, I still can't believe that's not even a thing. I think Guild Wars 2 is one of the first games to do that. But yeah, we're done on that. I'm really sorry, everyone in chat watching live. Like,
nobody.
I don't know where we were. We're like where we dropped
we basically just came in on chill mode.
They're mining in the Jade Sea Boots.
Oh, good point.
Oh my god.
Half of the people left. Also, so all who wants to be Cholmu, Yao, and then one person gets to be Jin Lee.
You can all
I'll
do
be
that.
Yao.
You'll be Yao. I can do Cholmu.
I'll be Jin Lee.
You'll be Jin Lee? Okay.
Yeah. Got it.
Where are we starting
Finally!
from?
Did no one hear me yelling?
Oh, we're not going all the way back there.
We didn't drop out
You wanna
there.
go?
Like, we want to go to.
No. We're at after the fight.
Oh, he's back. There you go.
Thank you for doing that.
Oh no, he's back. Okay.
There, I see.
No, wait, no. Oh. You want to do it after the fight?
Okay, so you start.
Yeah.
Okay. Fine. Go ahead.
Oh no, you
So it's you,
start.
I think, first,
No,
yeah.
Cholmu starts. You're like,
No,
thank you
it's-
for doing that.
Oh, okay, it's not Jin Lee's. Yeah, okay, you're right. But then the Jin Lee can't talk. We need Jin Lee to talk.
Oh,
Okay, I'm so sorry.
And
Let me do what
Okay.
needs to happen. I will start with Jin Lee's line. Are we all ready?
Yeah.
Yeah. Perfect.
Rabid gurgling.
Thank you for doing that. I didn't have the heart to do it myself.
that line was in combat, but yeah, so come on, don't make me do this. Well, the actual response is, was that really Jin Lee?
Oh yeah, it's still in
He was
combat,
acting
you're
like a
right.
monster. But if any part of him is still him, I don't know what to say.
This place puts everyone on edge. They go down there to mine, and if they don't come back, they're all rebellious.
Like
If?
teenagers.
Maybe you should, I don't know, be looking for them?
I tried, but look, if you're gonna criticize me, run home to June. Is that what you're really here for? To spy?
Gods, you're paranoid. You said things were out of hand, which checks out. I'm staying to search for the crew.
Don't go down. You won't listen anyway. Do whatever you want. But don't say I didn't warn you.
You're in a tough position. I get that. But the longer you sit back and wait, the more people will wind up like Jin Lee. I know how much you care about your crew, but if you don't act now, you won't have any crew left to care about. Commander, if you want to scope out more of the area, I'll meet you later in the lower mines. Cholmu, these people have been nothing but brave for you. It's time to return the favor.
I don't know
Very
about that.
good. Yes, very good. I'm going to give a
Very
bit of a
emotive.
clap for that, actually.
There we go.
Both of you, very good, yes.
I'm so sorry. Not me too, Jebro?
Oh, no, that was great.
I think that was the best of all of us.
Yeah.
I mean, it was pretty good. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was the face you made was actually very good as well. It was mostly the face because you kind of went like this.
I was really trying to embody it, just to personify it.
It did sound like I just assumed you knew that I thought you did very well. You say, but I will make sure that I tell you. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Jebro. Yes, please praise me excessively on the podcast. That would be good for me.
Everyone, please put some rookery emotes in the chat because they did very well with gurgling in the game. Congratulations, rookery. Please take your award and dismount from the platform.
Can we get Jebro gurgling with the echo effect on?
You don't want that.
I think we do. I think we all want that.
I don't think so.
Oh my gosh.
Welcome to Yaladelve.
Yes, I used to be a commentator.
25 subs. Yeah, 25 subs. Yeah.
I love doing that stuff.
I think so I talked earlier about how I really like this map, but I actually think this is a really clever use of sort of setting here to have this little portion of the map be part of this instance, but for it to be this little piece that's above ground, and then all the rest with the meta and the rest of the map exploration to be like you literally delving deeper and deeper. It makes this just such a clever little transitional zone that's part of this bigger map, but that I think has a good feel for it being a story set piece, but then also expanding out when you eventually instance out of this instance, and then you are like exposed to the full map. I also think it's interesting going through it the second time because I don't think I picked up on this that much the first time, but Cholmu's behavior here, like the fact that Yao keeps saying that he is being so paranoid, that there are these insecurities that he keeps voicing, that he's acting kind of brisk about people that he otherwise supposedly really deeply cares about, his own people and his, his group, his gang, and all the members that comprise it. And that, like, obviously Yao has a great deal of loyalty to him, even though Yao ended up doing their own thing and moving on. But it's interesting here because I think it's pretty safe to say that Cholmu, along with everybody in this camp, is subconsciously being affected by whatever this is, and that perhaps Cholmu's great insecurity does have to do with like the people around him leaving him, or leaving his, the family that they've created, that he's suspicious of Yao in his own way now because, Yao chose to leave this after he offered him shelter and care, and that he doesn't know why people are disappearing into the mine. And maybe he is afraid that his own people would turn against him one day, or that they, wouldn't care about what he'd done, and so he just withdraws. It's interesting to kind of look into it because throughout this whole thing, Yao insists over and over, like, I swear Cholmu really is not like this normally. So with us really only having had the opportunity to kind of know Cholmu through the meta, but now, I mean, with Yao too, who we also, was pointed out earlier, really didn't get much time with an End of Dragons. It's great to get this kind of examination, but then also maybe have these, I don't know, our deepest, darkest secrets exposed kind of moments, our deep insecurities, fears, anxieties, all of that being something that people are kind of forced to be truthful about in this place, in this way.
I wonder actually so do you think going forward, I don't know if we should talk about it now or later, but do you think that the entity, whatever it is, preying on the people in here are able to more easily affect people who have past insecurities and or things that they still have yet to deal with?
Boots. People that have insecurities? You mean everyone?
Yeah, fine, fair enough. Or is it people who, because I mean, they started off the episode by saying how exhausted the commander is, rightly so, from all the things that they went through. Do you think that the reason why the commander is going to be affected faster than Goric or Rama or anybody else going down there, is it because of that they're just exhausted at this point, or is it because of their past? Is it because of the things that they still have to deal with?
It's the first bit. I was literally about to ask this. So good job, Boots. That's a very good point, because I think it does
made fun of me though.
No, I didn't. No, you're right. No, because you're right though, because everyone has insecurities though. Everyone does. So even if you don't know about, there's something about ourselves
I know,
that
or
we're not.
I guess I meant to say things that they still are meaning to deal with.
You mean mental health concerns specifically? I mean, I think it doesn't.
Trauma.
Yeah,
Trauma.
I think it can be anything. Yeah, like it can be. It can tap. It's tapping into those. I think you said it before. Like the insecurities is part of it as well. Like confidence, like anything, mental health. But like it's more pronounced, I think, you know, because of these adventures and the journeys and the amount of stuff you've done. You know, like it's just. It's everything. We'll get to that point, but it's from core game to Heart of Thorns to End of Dragons. Like it's everything. It's like.
Do we join you in the map, or do you join us in the map?
Oh yeah, shoot! I'm not actually exited, but that's a really, really good point. I didn't actually talk to.
Commander,
oh,
look who's up! Morning, sunshine.
That was an achievement.
Can a guy take a left snap without
Oh, well
the
done.
law hovering around?
I didn't talk to him at the end.
Odd occurrences around here.
Yeah, I think there's a lot to be said here. I mean, I would assume what was so interesting to me, and we'll probably talk even more about this as we keep going and as we get to the final instance, right?
Yes.
But there is this constant presence in this area of this thing is doing this to us. So the haze, the smoke, the, you know, this entity, it's preying on us, or it's making us hallucinate, or it's making us volatile, or it's making us angry, or it's making us. And my big question coming out of this episode is how much of it actually is to be blamed on the haze? Like,
yeah,
are these real things? Well, but sorry, just to connect to what you're saying, like, are these real things, like you were saying, Boots, where it's like these are unresolved traumas, histories, mental health struggles, insecurities, worries, stresses, anxieties, those things that we push down, that we try to hide, or that we feel like we can't always be honest about, be it because like, oh, people won't receive it well, or mental health or talking about our struggles can be difficult, or you feel like a burden, or you feel like, in the case of the commander, right? You're a figure that's larger than life that has barely had a chance to breathe before one more crisis is happening. And somehow, because other people maybe haven't been able to shoulder the burden in the same way as you, or, you know, aren't as strong as you in some sense, right? You continually are being put through the ringer on this, even in the end of this episode when they're like, oh yeah, we'll just traumatize you even more, but you're the commander, so that's like what you have to do, right?
Yeah.
So like, I think it is interesting here because depending on some of our speculation later, there definitely seems to be a magical force at work that is causing people to behave in a way that they wouldn't necessarily openly behave normally. But I can't help but wonder, like you were saying, if the commander themselves is perhaps so susceptible to this because the commander themselves has been maybe the greatest person in all of Tyria to have, like, as in like the most unable to actually voice, process, or experience these things that lie beneath, right? What lies beneath, like, because you are the hero, you are the face of hope for everyone, you are the anchor for everyone. And I think in our own lives on a smaller scale, we can relate to that when we're trying to be strong for people around us, but inside we might be crumbling. And sometimes, like FORNAX was saying, in the heat of the moment, or when you're literally just like, I have to get through this, I have to survive this, I have to make it through this, whether that's I have to just get through work today, or it's some terrible traumatic thing that you're experiencing, oftentimes you just don't have a chance to process that because you literally are in survival mode, you're not in processing mode.
Look what Raider just said in the chat as well. Like, we literally don't. Like you know, there's different like
literally die.
Like, yeah. I mean, you just, and also it's time. Like a lot of us don't realize these things, or even like you just don't have the time. Like you move from one thing to another, and then all of a sudden you're for a lot of the reasons why people have mental health concerns in the first place is because they're forced into a place of having to think about this stuff, which is why COVID was wasn't just a crisis of health like body, it was a crisis of mental health, which is, you know, why the mental health services across the world are completely fucked right now, because they're just not fucked, but like they're inundated with patients, like because people had to sit in their homes and think about what was going on in the world and in themselves. So when you're forced into that slot, like you know that a lot can come up, but here it does feel like, you know, it's kind of come to a head, but there is a force here as well, which is making him have to think about it as well.
It's not something forced. Yeah, exactly. It's not like he's forced to think about something in this case. It's that he's finally come to a place where he could stop for a second and, you know, not just rush headlong into everything.
I mean, he's not the head of this thing. He doesn't have to think about the world specifically anymore. It's
and then on top of that, there's something that's making him confront
that is taking advantage of your mental processes.
Yeah.
I would say though that right now, if the commander, before we even hit this map, was mentally okay, they've just had a couple of weeks of R&R. They should be bouncing. They should be rested. They should be great. They should have a tan. They should have like loads of souvenirs around Kying City. They should be like great. And
what do you think he's been doing in like these last, let's say, 3 weeks? What do you think he's been doing?
Hopefully eating.
I went back to Radasum and did some engineer stuff. It's very secret though.
Okay.
I mean, I think that'll be a question for every character, right? I mean, I assume the commander, at least in my mind, probably was checking in to make sure the organizations, the places, the parts of the world that they had helped deal with all of this were secure, that Aurene was settled in whatever new role, that, you know, there's this looming threat of energy in Cantha and what that means, and probably having to be a figurehead at various things. But hopefully, yes, like taking some time to just do something for themselves. But I mean, speaking from personal experience that even like FORNAX brought up, or like Jebro just brought up, I think in those moments when you do actually finally have a chance to catch your breath in that sense, sometimes if you're dealing with these bigger mental health things, it's those moments where you actually feel the most exhausted, the most completely just like empty in a sense, where you're like, okay, I'm going through the motions, but what am I supposed to do now? Like,
I'm interested to see if they almost have like a therapist type character, or like if there was a therapist / counselor type person in the game.
Would they name it Jebro?
No. Is there one already? I mean, hey, that would be cool. But like, if there was one, you think Aurene? Like, I was thinking about more if there was. I mean, hey, I'm up for that. Counselor Jebro, like that's got a nice ring to it, you know.
I think Aurene has had her fair share of experiences, but is still relatively young.
Yeah, that's the thing.
And there is a certain element of kind of, in a weird way, like youth and slight naivete can be somewhat helpful to maybe readjust things into perspective, and also to remind yourself of possible like better times, or at least showing that you or someone else can navigate in a better way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think the youth part is a bit like, for me, it's like, I'm not sure.
If I was actually the commander, I'd want to talk to Kunavang.
Yeah.
Me too, because Kunavang was hitting on me during the.
Oh no! Wait, I know. I know who the best counselor would be. Ogden.
No.
100%. What are you talking about?
Kunavang, I think would be brilliant. I mean, she was basically Suwan's, confidant.
That's true.
Somebody who I think would play that role. It's interesting because I almost feel like, I mean, we don't know yet. We have a lot of theories, I'm sure, about what is possibly going on down here. But while this is not a substitution for actual robust professional therapy or anything, getting caught in a magic fog that makes you confront your own, perhaps, deepest secrets, if we're thinking Abaddon here at the end, or whatever it is, I think in its own way is a journey of perhaps a greater fantasy metaphor for a journey of working through these things or being forced to confront them in some kind of tangible way.
Speaking of metaphors, we got to talk about demons in general in Guild Wars 2. Because the iterations of demons in Guild Wars 2 are very, like, straightforward, metaphor hit on the head kind of situations. And I appreciate that. I appreciate that when you're dealing with demons in Guild Wars 2, you more often than not are dealing with like your metaphorical demons of yourself. Like with Deimos, it's like they feed on your insecurities, they feed on torment, so they feed on like the sins and the negative aspects of humanity, and amplify them in each person, or try to. So I think it's another one of those situations, it seems like, with this possible demon. Is that did we decide that in this episode it was a demon? By the way,
did we decide that I was right? Yes, that clearly.
I think we decided that you were right.
I mean, you can
yeah.
definitely be right. You're allowed to be right. If it's Boots,
it's
then we have to question
Kanaxai. It's got to be Kanaxai.
It's got to be Kanaxai.
Yeah.
Well,
if it isn't, well,
I've heard two theories: Kanaxai or something to do with Abaddon. Like those are the two things that I've heard. But I think they could both be true. I think they could both be connected.
Yeah, they're.
In Kanaxai's original artwork, he had the same eyes as Abaddon. He didn't have them in game, but in the original artwork, he had the same eyes as Abaddon.
So was he a creation of Abaddon, like an avatar of Abaddon, maybe?
You see, they don't know. So as we go further and deeper down into the lair, you'll see that actually this is, we were talking about where it was thin and where the mist realms could leak into our own.
Yeah.
You see that same environmental effect happening the deeper down into the lair you go. So it could very well be, it seems to be indicating by the environmental storytelling that is what is happening, that this is some sort of planar event, and it is here, Kanaxai is here because of that. But
now when we got rid of Kanaxai 250 years ago, did he just go dormant, I guess, do you think?
We don't know whether we did get rid of Kanaxai because he split himself into 13 aspects. And the player needs different aspects of him, like the aspect of sorrow and the aspect of like pride.
They dealt with him. They dealt with the 13 aspects, though, right?
Yeah, but how many aspects actually are there?
There's more than 13.
This could all be pretty fascinating, though, because I think there could be a tie between all of these, right? Abaddon was as an entity, and if we are going to be leading or transitioning into something with the human gods, which has been a big thing, we've even theorized, future expansions, that would be cool to touch on or get into, right?
Yeah.
So whether or not they are connected or they aren't connected, I think it would make sense for Abaddon to be the connection here, in the sense that there's a mention about the fact that, like, obviously the Jade Sea, Shiro, the Jade Wind, but also like a lot of the the energies and things done here, as well as his corrosive influence, where he could kind of like take over people or compel them, like Kunavang, stuff like that, right? There's a line, I think, in this episode that we had where they say something about, like, this was Shiro's power, but Shiro had connections to Abaddon, and like Abaddon being this entity of the ocean and of like secrets, mysteries, these sorts of things. I think you could see those connections, and or the possibility that when he kind of went off the rails and decided he was going to be the only god and he was going to, like overthrow everybody else, that maybe he did just. Well, didn't he say that he wanted to take over?
No, they turned on him.
Yeah.
Oh, initially, but he eventually does do a whole uprising.
He was too nice to humans, and all the other gods were like, "Hey, fuck you."
Yeah, exactly, and they have continued to be F the humans. Yeah, which is crazy.
Okay,
he was more a Prometheus type of character.
Yeah.
But that was after he had been imprisoned. He did try to do an uprising. He did try to overthrow them.
Oh, during Nightfall, I guess.
He was trying to free himself. Yeah, he was trying to free himself from the prison that they put him in, because he didn't want us to have the power that he'd given to us, magic, taken away, because he thought that we needed it.
Because
he's really a human champion.
Yeah.
I see.
Abaddon redemption arc.
Hold on. I'm looking on the wiki right now. So give me 1 second.
Go.
We see. He launched a war. He had a fall from grace. So the Six decided to gift magic to the mortal races. Abaddon rose up to the task. The gift of magic, however, empowered them in a way that the gods seemed to be upset about. So like you were all saying, right? And they revoked the gift of magic. He was upset about this, but he does try to, he's imprisoned, but he does try to come back and take over, in a sense. And then he obviously ends up liaisoning with Shiro. hold on, I'm looking for this exact line.
Are we doing an Abaddon did nothing wrong situation, or?
I mean,
No,
I
I think it's complex, right?
I mean, so he was fighting for humanity. They didn't want him to. A human king suggested that magic be taken away because there was just so much war. He didn't want them to do that. They turned against him. They imprisoned him. They stripped him of his power, and imprisoned him in. I'll try to strip him of his power. They basically did to him what they did to Balthazar, right? And then he tried to get out, and all of the machinations of prophecies and factions is him trying to get out, and Nightfall is him trying to manipulate events so that he can free himself.
Right.
And exact, probably not necessarily revenge against humanity. I mean, against his brother and sister gods.
Yeah, I mean, supposedly he was destroyed and then formally replaced, but all of this to say, if they were going to tie here, because yes, there's a lot of lore in this, and I'm just speaking off the top of my head. Obviously, listen to everybody. FORNAX is ultimate lore master. Look at the Wikipedia, all that kind of stuff. But
watch my video, just saying.
Or watch the video. But if they were going to do something here, like he discovered something, or in this, like what he used to empower Shiro, or that like source of power that we're talking about that we keep having recurring here, and or some kind of extra planar mystery where a demon like Kanexai would come through, that it could be possible that some of this is connected in some way, like that it could be tied together, or that like that discovery of whatever that is, or whatever we're about to find out that it is, or the human gods and their history and why they fled even in the first place to come here, could have some kind of tie. I mean, it's still pretty vague, but it's interesting at least.
Yeah, I definitely think Kanexai is higher up on the list of things we'll encounter than Abaddon for the next episode. But, it's possible that Kanexai swears allegiance to Abaddon, so that might be something that's an overarching kind of plot that might be happening in the future. But that's a question that I don't know if we could answer right now, especially since we only know about these 2 episodes, and since it's only going to be probably 2 episodes, I feel like we're only going to be maybe seeing a Kanexai and not an Abaddon in these.
Well, this is supposed to be a bridge.
What gives you that idea that it's only going to be 2?
This is the thing. This is the thing I'm thinking. I'm like, there's going to be more than 2. I'm not sure why.
It's just basically what they wrote. That
if we put 3 quarters left.
They said the first episode we're going to be introduced to an enemy, and in the second episode we're going to deal with the enemy.
That's what they said, and that it would be a bridge
to the future stories. So
yeah.
I also was in the consideration that it was only 1 more after this, and that we'd be getting the expansion this year.
That was my understanding.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think we're going to have 2 more episodes. I think expansions next year.
If that is, then I'm very worried for Guild Wars.
I don't know. I'm not sure. I think that would go from the kind of End of Dragons 2 years, though. That would make sense.
What evidence? Like
the 2 years, the 2 year cadence. That's
I mean, they
said not wanting to do 2 years. They said they want to do it sooner than 2 years.
Well, they said like don't want to do 2 to 4 years, but like.
Well, 2 is in that bracket.
That's true. That's true.
I mean,
it's just a theory, right? I mean, it's just an opinion.
Yeah. As we run around and we explore and things like that, I will say this much. Not only that announcement that Bootts is talking about, because yes, they said they outlined even how this map was going to be, that it would come in 2 portions, so that we'd have the first half, we'd have the second half, there would be metas added. Like in that post we had, I think it very much broken up that way, and that the estimation of the second half of this is that it might be coming May, June, possibly, if we're on that same pace. I don't know for sure that they're going to start a new expansion cycle this year, but given the brevity of this episode, I would say that right now, for me personally, it looks more likely, because this was very short. It was good. It was really good, but it was short in such a way that I personally felt like, okay, wait, hold on a second.
Yeah.
This reminds me a little bit of the brevity that we got with the final Icebrood Saga episodes. Although I think better overall narrative delivery and things like that. I think this was a much more positive experience and a really good hunk of story, great new map, great little meta. But
that's a good point, because that was a pivot, wasn't it? So was this episode written, this is definitely this written during that same pivot? So it's maybe in the same kind of...
Oh, what do you mean by that?
So maybe did they, when they were doing this episode, was it during a point in time where they started to think about more going towards the idea of an expansion? Because this would have been what, like a year ago at the least that they started doing this, probably?
I think this was with the idea in mind that they're going to be changing up their format going forward.
I agree. Yeah.
So I want to bring up a discussion about the brevity of this, and
we still haven't finished playing the story through. I'm trying to get it done, but but do you
I'm much
actually
further than all of you right now?
Maybe we can. Oh yeah, have we all got different bars going down?
Oh yeah, I just finished my bar.
Oh okay, I'm like halfway through, so maybe you can keep going.
I'm supposed to scan the hay spots now.
Yeah. That's what I'm doing.
I finished scanning the hay spots.
Yeah, that's what
I'm still.
Well, it's only me that needs to do it, I guess. You don't need to worry too much.
Yeah.
I've just been not paying attention to that part, and I started mining things.
So while you're doing that, we could talk a little bit about it. So recently on Twitter, I saw a picture of someone talking about the Last of Us TV show.
Okay,
and I saw people. And it was someone talking about people complaining about the most recent episode being a filler episode.
No, not. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Go ahead.
Right. And but in reality, it wasn't a filler episode. It was a character development episode. Because it gave you the backstory of certain characters, let you understand their feelings and all of their motivations going forward, etc. And I feel like this episode is a very similar situation, because I feel like these two episodes together are in some ways a filler storyline. Like, yes, we have to deal with the power issues of Cantha, and I think this is how we're going to do it. We're going to get to these ley lines, and we're going to be able to figure it out by dealing with whatever thing is guarding them. So in that way, it's a bit of an interlude filler episode where you're just getting something done really quickly out of the way fast, and then we're going to move on to other things. But I think it's also a character development couple of episodes. And I think that's really evident in how we are. I mean, it's another question of, is it too late to start developing the commander's character? I don't know. It's been 10 years now. We're starting to get in depth with what the character is feeling.
That is another topic.
I have to tab out of game to type shots fired. Hang on. Jesus Christ.
No, that is another aspect of this narrative that they seem to be focusing on, and the overall themes, which I'm a little interested to see how it is ultimately going to feel once this is all done, because we really don't have a lot of character development for the commander outside of the personal story and some of the choices that you can make, even though it all kind of culminates to the same thing, really. But then after season 1, it was a much more linear experience and very flat. So then this very quick shift to what could be a very commander-centric storyline. I'm interested to see how it'll ultimately pan out.
Me too. But I like the idea
the direction
of
kind of dealing with trauma, because
no one does that. Not many people do that in MMORPGs. They really don't do it that much.
We've done it a couple of times in Guild Wars 2, but I don't think to this extent.
Not in this way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just worried if it'll feel a bit too flat and clinical, and not necessarily in service.
What do you mean by that? What do you mean by that? Can you explain a little bit more?
I find it to be interesting that they chose the commander of all characters to go into this with. I think there could have my mind would have went to other characters like Kaith, Bram, where throughout the story they have had quite a bit of story of character development where they are an active entity and are making their own decisions.
I think you have a point, but at the same time, I feel like this is a wise choice.
Yes.
I prefer it. Yeah.
Because the player is more likely to, like in Bram's case, for example, not get annoyed with the commander as opposed to another character having to deal with it. You know,
it's the connection it's the connection to it as well, which is very important, because we can always feel for being able to explain to someone, and this is going to be one of the most important storylines they will ever produce for this game, in my opinion, because being able to empathize is different to be able to sympathize and also write a story about depression or some kind of PTSD, because a lot of the time, a lot of people don't get it. They don't understand what these conditions are, right? So to do that, they have to use a lot of video, a lot of audio, and to do that when you're not the character being played is very, very difficult, I think. Whereas if you are the character, you can see like you can have the images, you can have the sound, you can have the screen wobbles, you can have the trauma.
You're
easier to do it. For
You're
sure.
experiencing it. It's not instead of it's Goric saying this guy's acting crazy, what's going on? It's us actually seeing these things and experiencing these things.
Well, you're talking about how it is actually going to be portrayed. I'm more so interested to see why they chose this to be the very first kind of commander-centric story, as like our first starting point is the trauma, rather than because it would have been nice if we got more of who the commander is throughout the expansions to then get to this point, and it would feel, perhaps in my experience, a bit more logical. But for this to kind of be the very first starting point, I'm more so just wondering how it will ultimately feel, because right now it makes sense, but it made me wonder if we were playing as Bram, if we would have been like, okay, this is their time to have their processing arc.
I'm gonna lie, I'm glad I'm not playing as Bram.
Well, yeah, and I want to say that I think I think that a lot of stuff that so this idea of now they've decided to give the commander personality or like an arc. I think this is something that many MMOs struggle with, because many MMOs are like, we need to make ourselves the most blank template possible so as not to impede upon the player's perception of how we want them to experience their character. And we've seen many games, I think, really lean into that, where you are the most absolute blank neutral hero figure, maybe with a couple little troubled moments of like, oh no, will I make it? Or a little bit of like, oh, the stakes are so high, but like very rarely in such a way that the player character is given their own defining traits. That's very hard to do in an MMO, because versus an actual RPG where you can have 5 different dialogue choices or whatever emotional wheel or things like that, and then that can be something that dynamically reacts or builds or whatever. I think MMOs are capable of this. I just don't think we're at the point yet where many of these teams, technology, etc., can have all these different variables of writing and personality and stuff like that that's expressed, and so many games instead lean towards the extreme neutral template. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that per se, but I will say that a game in which I love the story and I love having my own headcanons, Final Fantasy XIV, but in which the fully unvoiced, unspoken protagonist is oftentimes memed on, because you watch as all these characters around you have these like self-growth arcs and realizations about their greatest insecurities and all these things, and then your characters in the background, and when they're prompted to speak, they're like, they nod, or like when it's time for the heroic champion speech, because they're unvoiced, they're like, and then one of the other characters speaks for you, right? That becomes so dissonant at a point that I actually think that if they were going to do an arc like this for the commander, this is almost the perfect time to do it. because we have a 10-year story culmination. We have perceived the game in a specific way. We've perceived the arc of the game in a specific way over the course of 10 years. So if we are going to recontextualize that, give what happened before greater depth, greater weight, and then invest in the idea of what that meant to your character, that 10-year arc, I think it does make it a very personal journey, a very personal thing, and a very big risk for them to take in the game. And I'm glad that we're not just watching the NPCs experience emotional arcs without us ever getting one, because if you're gonna do it 10 years in, I think we earned one.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see, because I think this is something that could be so important for the game, and how you make that something. You don't want it to be too generic. You don't want it to be, you don't want it to lack emotional impact just because, you know, they're trying to appeal to everybody. But you also don't want it to get so hyper specific that it feels as though it is telling you how to feel. And that's going to be the really big difficult thing about this, I think. But I think if it's pulled off well, it could make replaying the last 10 years of story something that feels so much deeper, because you have had a chance to reflect truly on what did that 10 years mean to you? What did that story mean to you? And how did that impact you? And I think it could be good. Well, I'm excited.
I think you're very right. I think that there's an article about this episode and what might be coming the next episode. And the line that was given from ArenaNet to the reporter was that the first episode is going deeper and deeper to face this thing. And the next episode is basically climbing yourself back out. And I think that's physical. I think that's very real, but I think that's also probably mentally in this situation. I think it's going to be the commander facing his issues or her issues or their issues and climbing their way out of the hole. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they do it.
Can I speak in sort of like defense of the story so far?
Sure.
Every moment of our character's existence has been consumed with their employment, right? Their job as a commander, their job as a representative of their people, saving people. That there's never kind of been necessarily a kind of a kick back and relax moment. Even when we went to South Sun Cove to, you know, bikinis and Mai Tais, as it were, that was not what we got, right?
Right.
And we have just been living on adrenaline and you know, stimulants probably since we hit the ground running. And for me, it was like, with the pale tree, and before I'd even awakened, I was fighting a dragon for the Sylvari character. So we haven't had a chance for character development because we've been firefighting. Everywhere we go, the world is on fire.
I think that's true. I think that's so I think that, yeah, exactly. It's a situation where it was a conscious decision from the developers, like Rook said, not to develop the character because you want it to be a blank slate for people to play.
Yeah.
But I think now that we're done with that storyline, we can take our time to like say, is that necessary? Maybe give the commander a little something.
But remember as well that, like, and we're going to see this, that there is still some uniqueness in this, because some of the choices you made in the past, should you have played core game, have influenced some of the images that you see. Because we're going to get to the instance where that occurs, and then people may not realize this, but there is a specific thing. So there is part of your own journey and your choices scattered in there. Not many, but like, you know, there is some of your uniqueness, which I really do love about this.
And you're right, FORNAX.
Well, sure.
You're right, FORNAX, that although it is possibly just that, okay, now we could actually tell a story like this, it is very well explained by the fact that we've just been going like full force from crisis to crisis, and now the commander has a chance to do it. So like it's kind of kismet that now's the time that they're able to do it.
I also feel like we're transitioning from the dragon story to our story, because it's all been about the Elder Dragons. It's been about the Elder Dragons. It's been about Aurene and her journey, and us being her guardian and her parent, and how she's evolved and everything that we sacrificed for her, including our lives. And now, I think that we're hopefully what I would like to see personally as a player is them shifting away from like constant firefighting to more character-driven, interesting stories. You can still have all the crazy dynamic gameplay, you can still have extraordinary maps, but I would just like a bit more depth and substance to our character and to the characters around us.
Sure.
Yeah. I know Rook's like at the end of the meta, so I was like, do you want to finish it, or should we go with the story, or like how close are you to finish it?
Do whatever works for you. I'm just vibing down here.
Oh, okay.
I was actually, this does actually bring up an interesting point though, because I wanted to ask everybody about this. The meta, where should you play it in this episode?
Not yet.
You should play it after.
Yeah.
I would recommend after.
I played it before. And I was like, damn it.
Within the control of a story instance, I think there's more of a gravitas behind entering that area and also seeing the enemies. So I'd recommend after.
And yet, the story gives us the like do events beat before that final instance. Although, of course, you don't have to like do it all the way through. That's one thing that we've been talking about a lot. I was also advised to do the meta after, and I agree in that. I think, like you said, it adds more to the moment, the reveal, the impact, the enemies here. It gives it more context, and then this almost feels like, you know, story instance greatest hits kind of like moment. But I did think that this was an interesting one because of where it's sort of placed, and the fact that given like previous precedent in Guild Wars 2, oftentimes if you have that step where it's like, now do the events, it's because it's oftentimes meant to be the spot where you should do the meta to get the continuous story or the linear story. Sort of interesting on this.
Yeah. How do you guys feel about the meta, by the way?
Oh yeah, that's another topic.
I think we should play through the story first.
Yeah. We can talk about the meta while we get to the
Because we don't actually have that much longer, I think.
Yep, go for it. Go ahead. We can do story. We can do story instance.
But yeah, the map being a meta is it's whelming. It's whelming, you know. It's fun.
Okay.
You made it. Further research awaits, Commander. Shall we? Still so many questions. We already neutralized the void. Aurene confirmed it. Yet there's obvious disequilibrium here.
I'll try to get more out of Chilmu about this haze once we're done.
Would he even know anything? You said yourself, he's been hiding at camp while this crew goes berserk.
Canaxai
he really screwed
is the
up,
demon of
but he's
nightmares,
not what you
right?
think.
Oh, a criminal, a coward.
Nightmare
Well, so
Horde
far he's
are
proven both.
his minions.
True, but in the player guide of Guild Wars 1, that tells you how to defeat Canaxai, it introduces him as Canaxai, the demon of nightmares.
Oh.
So, I mean, it does seem like that's what he's doing. He's giving people nightmares.
Well, that's a perfect match for PTSD, because nightmares are one of the many symptoms of the disorder.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's it. Well, actually, as well, I want to get a quote from something that's important. There's PTSD, which is normally one event, and then there's complexity PTSD, which is actually probably more closer to what he is experiencing, which is like continual different events happening, or even it can be the same event as well, but repeating. So it's a lot, but it's not just like PTSD is like, in complex PTSD is comorbid with like so many different things. Comorbid means like crossover with other conditions, so like anxiety, depression, bipolar 1, 2, whatever, and all these different things. So you're not like, if we think about like mental health conditions as well in this game, specifically with the story, it's not actually just PTSD, complex PTSD. There's probably like a 5 or 6 other diagnoses which could go with this, and I'm like, I'm in the mood to write a paper about this for some reason, because I was like thinking about this last night, and I was like, oh, like there's a lot, yeah, acute and chronic, because there can be loads of different stuff going through this.
It's a nervous system disorder, by the way. It's the body responding to stimuli in a wrong way. So you're traumatized, and then you carry that with you internally, and then you'll come across a trigger, and then your body will respond as if it was the previous traumatic event, rather than the event that you're actually dealing with. That's the it's a nervous system disorder. It's a physical thing. It has that very physical element to it. It's a huge spectrum of things, but primarily that's when you're talking about that, I think that's what people misunderstand about it most.
Absolutely.
That it's a physical reaction to an external stimuli that you don't have control over, because it's your nervous system that's doing it for you. It's your fight, flight, or freeze.
It's the somatic experience, like completely. It's that body. It's your body is remembering something that your brain can't process because it was so traumatic, right? So like your body, even if you have a bodily experience where the body experiences something in a very similar way, you can get triggered that way as well. So it's like, if you've had violent experiences in the past, you may watch something on TV and your body reacts in a certain way, like it can just bring everything back. And it's and it's not necessarily just memories, it's just how your body reacted. So you might shut down, you may have headaches, you may have like fear, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and
I mean, it doesn't even have to be something that you see. It can be a smell that triggers it.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really.
In this case, the fact that it is a demon inducing all of it can. I mean, yes, it's a. Yeah, go ahead.
I don't think it can induce it. I think that so if you think about the current situation on Tyria, it kind of mirrors our world. We have just gone through a terrible trauma that has touched every single person's life on the planet. The dragon rising is kind of allegorical to what we've been through, with massive upheaval, massive disruption, and a lot of death, right? And no, I don't know anybody whose life hasn't been adversely affected by that. So this is a collective trauma, and the demon, it can't give you PTSD, but if you are hurt, and everyone has been hurt, then it's kind of drawing all that out of you. And I think because we've been so traumatized, so through the brambles and back again so many times for so long, that makes us specifically vulnerable to it.
Very good point. And it goes back to what you said, Boots, earlier. That point you made was very true. It's the insecurities. It's not just playing on it. This is our journey, and we notice this more because it's happening to us. So which helps us to connect more to it, because then we start to imagine what everyone else is going through. How is this affecting Rama? How is this affecting Gorik? How would this affect Aureen, for example? Like, fuck, like she's lost all her family. Like, that's huge, How would this affect anyone else coming back? How is it affecting, there's animals, it's affecting robots, it's affecting everyone in a different way. So it will be interesting to actually see. What I think is very interesting as well is look at the map we're in. The story title, the zone we're in, the dark depths. We keep going down into this thing, and as we go down, like the issues and concerns and the awareness we start to gain and the insight gets deeper, it becomes more. So it's very literal, but I think it's actually very well done. Like it feels good as a clinician to be doing this and to be like actually connected to it in that way. I hope the ArenaNet devs hear this when I say I'm very proud to be part of this community, like in this game and what they've made, because this helps the stigma of mental health. This helps to get connection to people who have maybe not got any inkling of what a mental health concern is, because there are more people in the world that don't understand it than do. So it's really important. It's really good work, honestly, seriously. But this is why I think that it may not connect with some people as well. It may just not hit, and I think that's going to be okay. But hey ho. Anyway, didn't mean to get serious there for a second, but
my concern is that so in End of Dragons, they teased at a path forward or a journey for Timey with her illness as it got worse, and then they abandoned it. They didn't follow through. So I hope they hold their nerve, and I hope that they give this the respect the topic deserves as a storyteller. They have a real opportunity to show people the reality for so many.
I also hope that. I think that we may only have this episode and the next episode reserved for it, though.
I know.
Yeah.
And I'm worried about that too. I mean, I hope the themes at least maybe carry over into whatever the next expansion is as part of this bridging the gap, right? Or like perhaps that being a theme that we get to explore further. It is tough with like Timey's condition, right? Because they do make a big plot point deal of it, and then it kind of felt like there was a sense eventually that how they actually wanted to interpret it is that Timey as a character now lives with a chronic illness, and that like not everything can be fixed or have some great cure, and that like learning how to navigate your life moving forward can be something that many people do have to struggle with, and that will be one of the greatest battles of their lifetime, even if it's a day-to-day thing. But was there like a really good big story beat dedicated to that, where we realize like Timey's like, I realized that like there's no quick fix for this, and now I'm learning? No, I think we got just like a couple little dialogue lines here or there. So FORNAX, I'm right there with you in the sense that like I hope this isn't just like a quick little detour that they just brush the surface of and we all get some good headcanon ideas off of, and then it's like whatever else, full steam ahead. I hope that this does have bigger impact than that, and that we get to explore it even in a way more so than what we're about to experience once we bust this wall open. With the like, oh, remember how your mentor died? Oh, remember how this stuff died? I hope that we take it that next step further than what they've done previously in the game to really see, well, what did that do to you? Like, what did it mean to fail, to let people down, to lose a life, to feel as though no matter how hard you try, you cannot save everyone. You can't even like save yourself in a lot of ways because you've barely had time to navigate. And I hope we get to see it have more weight, and that they do dive into it, because I think it could be really meaty and really good.
Okay. Yeah. We're gonna continue with the story then. I would like some remarks on this. Thank you, Rook, for that as well. Sorry, I didn't want to sound that like I was dismissing that. Really, really, really important. Absolutely. Like they need to go back to that. I don't think they have to go back to that part with time. I think that's very important that they do that. What do we think about this part? I actually really liked getting back in the little bot and having a play around, you know. I like this.
I thought this was nice, getting to utilize the Jade bot. I mean, it's one of the main points of End of Dragons, so I hope they utilize this whenever they can. This wasn't the most exciting puzzle. No. So, you know, it was just nice to see.
Like, would you like to see the bot introduced across the planet?
Yeah, I'd like to see more Jade bot adventures.
Oh, by the way, Finn is also the best, by the way. Look at this flip he does. Do you see that flip? I love that. That flip is so cool. I love that thing. I want the choice of bot for engineer, honestly. But the thing is, sorry, I'm not going to talk for a second.
If you feel faint at any point,
you'll be the first to know. Shall we?
Agoric is already aware that the commander is at risk here.
The faintness.
Or seeming off, maybe.
Yeah. I think the faintness might be also to do with just the gas as well. Or like haze, like, and just because we've got the filter, right?
But he's talking to the commander specifically.
True.
I mean, I think it's just a telegraph. It's a telegraph of what's to come.
And ley lines.
For anyone who's not paying attention.
Absolutely. And ley line here we can see as well.
These are not the things.
No wonder our signal is shoddy.
Semantics. Hey, you know, the fact that these underworld spirits have appeared is kind of interesting too, right?
You were right.
That Ataxes, you know, shades.
They're all like demonic and part of the Nightmare Horde, I think. That's my...
Nice catch.
They're definitely... abyssals, actually. Yeah, you're right. But I saw an Atax, which is definitely from
also
the
are here.
Finish that sentence.
Yeah, I like these creatures.
I
I'm
do
excited
as
to
well.
get more of them.
Yeah, they look a little bit more 2023, if that makes sense. Like just.
Also,
corrupted
or the
ley
Oni
line.
look good.
Correct. The ley
Oh
line.
yeah, the Oni.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Oni is wicked as well. I like all the things, honestly.
the ley line anomalies are a fun little addition here.
Yeah.
I thought it
see
was my
that in it?
mission. Did you? Because I know you didn't. I'm not sure if you've done that quest either. But you know when you get the thingy popping up every so often, I was like,
Yeah.
oh no, the guy's popping up. Oh, I've done that. Oh, it's not that.
I started it because
Yeah.
if you have those ley line anomaly people that show up, hold on.
Oh right, yeah.
An unparalleled source
Sorry.
of raw magic, pure energy. This must be why the proximate jade is so powerful. It could be monumental in solving Kantha's energy predicament.
There you go.
So yeah, if you go to the Priory, there's like a quest chain that's just like an unmarked thing that's just down there. I think if you get up to it, like you can see it, and it's like, oh, this is actually a thing I should do. But there's not like anything that I at least found initially prompted me to go straight into it or like added it to a quest log or anything. It's somewhere in the achievements, I think. So like if you go there, you can research it more. And I actually want to try and look into it because I'm wondering if they're going to try and tie any of that lore about that kind of entity into whatever things in the future. I'm curious about it.
True. Shall I click the thing? So wait. Someone just mentioned in chat. Underdark74. Why is nobody talking about the free heads / monsters when we enter here? Does someone want to take that?
Aren't these from the?
I feel like FORNAX definitely knows, but
Oh my god,
Chris knows as
what's
well.
that place? What's that place? Is it the Maw of Torment or the Realm of Torment? Kind of, because these assets were also a part of Path of Fire in the Desolation when you're going to the meta event, and if I'm not mistaken, isn't that like a portal to the Realm of Torment or Balthazar or Abaddon's realm or something like that? So it might be emanating from that, but these assets have popped up, but we haven't seen them really be as much of a main focus on the environmental storytelling with the ley lines going into them. And when they were in the Desolation, they were more of a minor detail if you really paid attention to like the ends of the Maw of Torment there. But I really like the return of these. I think they're a really cool asset, and they're really ominous and creepy.
They sure are.
Have you got anything, FORNAX, about these?
Well, I mean, so there's some fantastic original art from when the game launched that has these surrounding the player in a kind of desert area, which is amazing. There is an Abaddon connection at the Realm of Torment. There is also the Maws, and there is a Jade Maw on the dragon map that we have, and the Jade Sea map, Suwon's map. I can't remember what it's called. What's it called?
It's Dragon's End.
Yeah. No, not Dragon. Is it Dragon's End?
It's Dragon's
Yes.
Is it the Dragon's End? Oh,
Yeah.
God. There's too many dragon stands and dragon
There's
Ends.
a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, so in my video, I said that this was a confluence point, or it looked like it could be a confluence point for ley lines, and therefore a source of great power. So you've got a ley line confluence, you've got a planar confluence, and you have an entity that is taking advantage of this. And there's kind of like an overtone of the kind of the Lord of the Rings with the dwarves in Moria digging too deeply and too greedily and waking up something terrible, and that is very much kind of mirrored in a very very Guild Warsy way with all the beautiful prismatic lights. But
It's true,
yeah,
they
no,
do.
I agree.
They do look a little bit like Jade Maw tentacles, but with demonic corruption faces on them.
They do. This is interesting too, because I did find, and I put it in the Discord, the thing that had been said in the wiki about Abaddon. So before he was imprisoned, you were right. Yes, he tries to do the human stuff. He tries to help the humans. They get mad at him. But Abaddon did lead a force of transforms Marganites to overthrow the gods and establish himself as the one god who would rule over all of Tyria. Then he was but his forces that he led there, including the Immortal Morganite elite soldiers, known as the Horde of Darkness, and the Horde of Darkness are demons chosen by Abaddon to assault the gates of heaven.
They're just misunderstood.
But it's interesting here because, I mean, yeah, like, we don't know. And they could just use these for literally anything. I mean, I think this would be, it's not like they even have to use them if they were tied to something else, like, at any point in the same way, if they haven't been necessarily reinforced that way in the game. So, I mean, these could just be something that's meant to evoke that sense of, like you're saying, the deep down oceanic Cthulian kind of horror, which is also totally fair. But I do... Oh, yeah, or they just look like big tentacle boys. I don't know. But I like the idea here almost of this sense, because the Void felt like such a last-minute addition, I suppose you could say. We had something very similar happen as well in Endwalker, where this, like, villainous element is added in at the 11th hour, and suddenly you're like, wait, what? Like, and so the Void, in this sense, was something that introducing it into End of Dragons as this major figure, and as something that is a component of the world that we now have to consider. I think they could have just, like, dropped it there, or they could give it some kind of redefinition, meaning, connection that is a foundational part of whatever comes next in the story. In which case, bridging the gap of the end of the 10-year arc into whatever lies ahead is really fascinating. And I think this, whatever it is going to be recontextualizing that, whether that's another world, a plane where demons come from, something to do with Abaddon, something to do with Kanaxai, and, like, what in the world caused this convergence of realities, whether that's something to do with the mists, which supposedly touch on and bridge the gap between realities and time and all kinds of stuff. Like, we were theorizing about it previously, but I think this is a great crux, a great crucible for this reveal, this, you know, possible big player in whatever we might be seeing for futures unknown in the game.
It's just such an ominous, like, place. It's nice. I like it. It's very dark and evil, and just the theme of it is just cool. Just generally awesome.
It definitely evokes, you know, H.P. Lovecraft kind of like eldritch evils, and it does look like those faces are feeding on the ley line energy, doesn't it?
Agree.
So is that connected to the demon that's running this whole thing? Is this Kanaxai's linked to the overworld right now, sucking energy down and, like, feeding him? Or is it something else? Or is it nothing at all? It could just be nothing at all. It could just be environmental storytelling.
I mean, Kanaxai is such a great character to use because there is so little lore. There is one piece of concept art, there is an avatar in-game, and then there is the fight that people can have in the deeps in the original franchise of Prophecies, and that's it.
Yeah.
And so they've got a huge springboard to go as deep as they want to expand the lore, to include Abaddon, to bring in somebody else, or to just have this as a nice kind of capstone, as a solution for the energy problem and an interesting battle for us to sort of cap off the End of Dragons season. There's a lot of scope. It can have as much, as many legs as they want it to, or as few. It's.
This is an interesting tidbit I just found as I was browsing wiki stuff. Guild Wars 1, the definition of demons. Outside the world we know, other dimensions exist. Realms beyond what we can see and experience. Civilized humans know that when they die, their souls pass on into the mists, the realm of the afterlife. Some spirits linger in this world or find ways to walk back into the realm of flesh, yet there are other creatures who watch them and wait, drawn to the energy of countless souls. Sometimes souls are not enough. In dimensions alien to the physical world, sentient entities scheme of ways to enter the realm of flesh, dreaming of the havoc they can wreak. Just as ghosts can defy death by returning to the land of the living, demons find ways into our world where they feast on suffering, despair, and the vital energy of intelligent creatures.
So I wonder if they've, like, that's interesting. That's very interesting, because this is what this is, isn't it? You know, if you think about what they're feasting on light, right? Though, like, in the very visual sense, but then feasting on us and our positive, like, you know, all of our insecurities or, like, fears or trauma and all of this kind of stuff. That's very interesting. So even just by delving deeper into these places, we're kind of forcing a story. Like, you know, we're like, our intrigue is gonna force this whole thing. Oh dear.
I also
cool.
think that it's very possible that the enemies we fight coming up to here and in this upcoming fight are sort of hinting at how demons are made. So we should go take a look at that.
I think we should, because we've
Great transition, Boots.
The J down here is all but glowing for the substantial energy levels coursing throughout it. Interesting find. Ooh.
This episode, so considering how tired the commander is and has been talked about the entire time and how on edge they are, Goric doing this for the next 10 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, really made me think that the commander was gonna snap at Goric at some point.
True. Yeah.
But they didn't. It was just...
It's tough because I think that's one of those details that would feel very interesting from a character standpoint, but that players might find to be like overstepping the line.
Yeah.
I find though that one of my symptoms when it comes to like anxiety or extreme stress or manifestation, like when I'm even facing, you know, whatever particularly bad period of depression, right? I get very irritable, I get very tense, I get very short with people, and I've had to like really try to consciously avoid that. And I think it would be totally like an interesting thing that they could have put in here to have that manifest in somebody who otherwise is oftentimes known as being the one that everyone can rely on, you know? And to then have to grapple with the guilt of what that means when like that's not even inherently who you are, and it's something that's manifesting that you're like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I even behaving like this? This is so terrible. I should not be like this, you know? Like,
well, it's the expectations of everyone around you, and you've been carrying them on your back for so long.
That's it. Okay. Let's delve into that in a bit after this. But yes, big important things.
And now it's not an Oni
It
anymore.
must be deceiving our senses, blurring reality.
I still have a lot of questions as to what this model represents and who this is.
yeah.
Okay, good, because I was like, I don't know who this is. Oh, here we go. Here we go.
Our real enemy lurks forever within.
Trehan, that's it. Now
I didn't
this.
see him in mine.
I didn't get that last time.
Now the reason this is because I haven't done the core story on this character. So apparently the reason he turns up is because you haven't done the core story on the character. I think so anyway. So otherwise it would be your
mentor. I got my mentor,
That's it. So it could be Tibble or whoever else. I can't remember the other people because they're not as important.
Which is very strange. I mean, I guess it is nice that you have that customization with your character, but in terms of the level of who should be here, I think it should be Traherne for everyone. We spent so much time with Traherne, and then we killed Traherne.
Oh, can you imagine if you were attacking the Ravenous Wanderer, and then suddenly the model shifted, and Traherne was like, what are you doing to me? Why would you do this to me? I wanted to live, or something like that. Oh, it would be so intense.
I think it's like, this execution is a little... It could have been done a bit differently, because as of right now, the thing that we're fighting, there's no connection to it at all. And then...
Also, the story's moving on, and I kind of need to make a point. Sorry. Continue. Like, we're on the...
I feel like it should have been Traherne.
I mean, should we talk about that after, when we've gone through the bits? Because he's told me to go to the next one, sorry. Okay. Or we can do it, I guess that's okay as well, because the bits happening to the commander where there's like the bits and pieces like air and stuff.
Here I have air. Do you have air?
Yes.
Yeah, these other two are the same for everyone.
They're the same for everyone.
Okay.
It would have been really interesting if you had dialogue choices as you approached in this instance, where you could talk, or they could say like, can you believe we've been through like 10, it seems like you've had a lot on your mind recently, Commander, what do you think about everything that's brought us here, or whatever, like something like where it could have been like a bit of dialogue there where you could bring up through your choices different people that had played a role in your journey, and then they would appear here as though they had been on your mind, and then they manifested. It'd be interesting.
Finn, shield Rama, quick! Invigorating.
Very true. Okay, Rama next.
Has been shielded.
Shield Rama.
Rama has been shielded. Also, this is straight up a strike mission. The fact that this wasn't a strike mission.
Who's dead?
Wild.
Yeah, we're fighting them. I feel 6 feet tall.
Yeah, between each part as well, we actually have to come in here and stand on the circles to res them up. I didn't realize that when I was doing it. I was like, just left them on the floor. I was like, they're talking. What's happening? It's kind of funny. And then we've got Amora as well, which is like Almora, sorry.
Oh, what demonic apparition? This looks like somebody.
I did everything I could.
Do we have a lot of emotional connection with Almora?
I was confused about that one.
And she was so heavily focused in the audio logs before this instance.
Yeah.
When I'm like, that could have been Air, that could have been Traherne, that could have been your mentor. I was a little confused as the choice of Almora.
I do think
considering that we weren't even there when she died, it is a strange choice.
I think it's just another ally that died, and as opposed to didn't die.
I would say it's more than that.
That's true, maybe. Who else
I would
died
say
that
it's
we
more
should
than
have
that. Although I think that they don't necessarily always, in the actual story itself, give us the strongest connection to this or reasoning to this. As I was playing through it, I was wondering that too. But it dawned on me that Almora, before us, was really, I would say, one of the first figures that essentially tried to shoulder the burden that we did. She lost...
We need to get him and go!
Sorry, I know there's more dialogue going on.
Yeah, the big bit.
Killing and corrupting.
It's what you were born to do.
It's what you were born to do. Just remember that as well. Sorry.
But I think it's really fascinating because Almora as a figure, right, was somebody who faced similar grief to us. Her entire warband was killed by the dragons. She lost so many people, including, I believe, her daughter as well at a point. And she created this organization.
Look at me closely, Commander. Concentrate. Who am I? Take your time.
Yeah.
You were extremely discombobulated.
I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm fine.
I'm fine, Gorek.
Oh, thank the alchemy.
You had us worried. You were talking to us like we were, well, not us.
Like old friends.
Yes. That demon. It was messing with my head. Made me think you were someone else.
Yes. I should have known as soon as it introduced those clones. It appears to be able to alter its victim's reality.
I've been trying to reach you since Yao dropped everything and ran into that hole. June is... she's...
Furious, I know. But we're making important discoveries down in this hole. And if I have to upset June to save...
June will not be upset when she hears what we found. A ley line. That's what's been supercharging the Jade.
Well, that's fantastic! A potentially free-flowing Jade-based energy source. It's too good to be...
There's an unkillable mind-altering demon gorging on it.
Oh.
Don't worry, we'll eliminate it. Or at least lure it away from the ley line.
And what's your plan of attack this time, General Gorek?
I'm afraid it's going to be unpleasant, especially for the commander. I wish there was another way, but that demon seemed particularly attracted to you. Fighting it will require neuroparasitological investigation.
If that's what it takes.
Sorry, Commander. Yao's right. It is important work. I'll fill June in. Keep us posted if you can, and good luck.
But I think Almora, right? So she lost so much. She went through her own journey. She had to become a figurehead. She herself was a combatant. And then she formed this organization out of all these disparate groups and tried to bring people together to combat the threat and to protect all people. And, you know, for the Vigil was always the one that caught my attention the least. I knew nothing
same.
about Almora until much later, so I do think there is a big discrepancy here. But thematically, lore-wise, you can see how her becoming this figure, this hero, this legend in this sense, to the point where you got these metal songs written about her. But then also, brutally enough, as I had the realization on stream, she's not even killed by the things she has put everything on the line to protect people from. She is killed by people that she swore to protect. And I think, like, it's so... Oh, it just, I don't know, it does get me when I think about it in a greater context, but I agree with, like, chat with Obi and with all of you that were saying that it feels a bit discordant, because Almora has always been one of those characters in this game that I think is one of the most phenomenal characters. But because we never necessarily got to have a sit down with her where we talked, you know, like, oh, I know the burden's heavy, you know, do you want to talk about it? Or that she had a moment where she saw us in a way that very few others did, or that regardless of what organization you chose, you got to really spend a bit of time with her and, like, learn more about her legacy and what she had lost in the fight to try and protect the greater good, what personal costs that came at for her, even though she attempted to save everyone, perhaps at the loss of her own personal connection, life, and the ones that she loved. And I think there is a parallel there, but I think it's hard to hold on to it when we really haven't been given much time with her, honestly. And then she is killed off screen, and then we learn more about it after the fact and see the betrayal, and it does sting, and it is impactful in those cutscenes and with that fight. It's so good. But, like, I think it's hard to really hold on to that with her, but I can see why maybe they put her there.
We left Blish to die.
Yeah, that's the
true.
one that
That's
got me.
true.
That's true.
Yeah. I mean,
And Gorik is Blish's brother, which is
Oh,
like...
maybe Gork will see Blish. Oh,
Maybe Gork will
that
see
would be
Blish.
good.
well, everyone
Yeah.
sees different people, right? I mean, yeah,
Gork's
it's,
on nothing.
it's interesting.
Gork doesn't care about Blish.
Yeah, that's interesting, actually.
I do find Elmore to have been a very interesting character, and I am glad that we did get more of her story within the Scrying Pool, and we all saw how she ultimately ended in the story. But I think as a choice for this one, I was a bit just like, huh, especially because she was the one talking to us. I would have been fine if she popped up, but she seemed to be such a major focus, and I saw other streamers talking about it, saying like, oh, is Almora coming back? Because they were putting so much emphasis on this character that we didn't have much time with.
I think
Yeah,
it should have been Joko, really.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. I think it should have been more Dramath or Krokatoric.
You know, the narrative team have a habit of either murdering people that we don't really care about or don't really know, and expecting some more of a reaction. I guess because they have a deeper connection to the characters
Hey,
than
they
we
killed
do.
Joko. I have a deep connection with Joko. What are you talking about?
I think we could all agree that Belinda being the first
my
character to
God.
die in Guild Wars 2 is the most
Yeah.
impactful. Well, except for, I guess, Tibble, but who really cares?
Sorry.
Yeah,
Whoa! Hey, now this is the whole Lightbringers
Jebro
podcast.
literally
like,
got shook. He literally
wow,
got
you are actually fired. FORNAX, I interrupted you. I'm sorry, FORNAX. I interrupted you. You were continuing.
It was going to be something about necrophilia. Carry on. It's fine.
Oh,
my
wow.
gosh.
Maybe my just inside my soul, I sensed you were going to take us down some
Marjorie?
I would say that I would love to see them explore evoking something that is not purely grief over death, if that makes sense. Because I think there's a lot of things that they could do with this. I think if you want to create a sense of helplessness, create some kind of encounter or situation that makes it feel like no matter how much you're trying to bail water out of a sinking ship, you literally can't until you start to realize, oh my gosh, this is a mechanic. You know, like have something where like you've got all these people who are trying to put you on the spot or calling for your help. You're trying to figure out who do you save, who do you let go, who do you like, whatever it is to again evoke a mindset perhaps for the commander. And so I'm hoping in the second half maybe it's even more so. It's not even just like hauntings from ghosts past, but rather something that puts us in a position where we experience through gameplay that sense. I mean,
You want a Kobayashi Maru? You want to?
Well, yeah, like
exactly.
No. I mean, exactly. Kobayashi Maru is a great example. The idea of illustrating what it means, what the cost of power is in a no-win situation, what the burden of leading is. Or I think of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice as well as a game, and even though there has been discussion and feedback about their portrayal of schizophrenia in the context of that game, they also worked really robustly with people to create a version of an experience that I think is still in many ways extremely laudable. Laudable.
That was a lot. If you ever got the opportunity to watch the making of that game, they talked to a lot of clinicians, a lot of psychologists, a lot of people specialists in the field who they actually produced it with them, and they walked through them with a process, even the the movements and everything else. Boots can't talk for a while, but
did we get 25 subs? Yay.
Oh, we had to hit 30, and now it's 50 if he wants to talk again. And within that time, so I'm like, okay. I'm rolling with it. People are doing it. So I'm just like, hey, I've got to pay my student loan off. But it's support, it's appreciated. But I want to make sure that we are cognizant of time and people's stuff going on, because I know they do people have to go, and we've got some other bits and pieces we want to talk about. Now we can also talk about that next time, but what we could do is just have some final thoughts on the episode for now, and maybe we can go through some of the voice lines here if we want to. I don't know if we want to do anything. You can't talk yet. You can use ASL if you know it. I don't know. Hellblade, yeah, that's what they were talking about. Okay, so general thoughts. Now you can think about length. You can no FORNAX. You can think about
depth. No.
The width, and also the did it feel good? Did it feel good this episode? Did it feel? Someone else talk. Before I start going through more,
This
extra words.
Honest review, it was a mixed bag. I loved the environment. I loved the music. The gameplay was fun. I loved the ambush events, which we didn't really get to talk about. I think that was a highlight actually of this. In terms of the story, of course, it was short. I'm happy that we're doing something else, but so far it's a little, I don't know, I'm not really finding a connection to it, and I think it could have been slightly better executed with what they seem to be trying to do.
Okay.
So
fair. And FORNAX story. Thoughts?
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. It's an amuse-bouche. It's a fun little thing. It's an appetizer. It's not kind of like a main course. But there's not enough meat on the bones to really get into it. It's a super deep, complex topic that I think that really deserves a lot more time in the media, because it's a real thing. And if you're gonna have the trope and get all the kicks from portraying people who are in conflict and who are going to war and who are putting their lives on the line, there are real world consequences that deserve just as much screen time for psychological, at least an indication and a nod and a recognition of the damage that these kind of situations do to human beings in them. And I know that they can do this very well. I know that they have the writing chops, and I know that they have the world in order to do this well. I just don't know whether, because if let's wrap it up, kids. We're moving on to bigger and better. If that's the attitude, then they're not going to be able to give it the time and the gravity and the gravitas that it deserves. That's my concern.
Yeah,
but the map is beautiful. The music is great. The events on the map and the meta map is fun. It's short, it's sweet, it's fun. It rolls over very quickly, and people seem to be happy to run it a lot. And there's some new weapons, and there's new achievements, and there's all those nice things. If you don't care about the story, this is great. If you care about the story, it has the potential to be fantastic. Let's hope that they deliver.
Okay. We'll go for Rook next, and then we'll do me, and then by the time we got there, Boots should be off of their ban.
I do agree. I agree with both Kroof and FORNAX. I think I fell a bit more on the enjoyment side of it. Not that I get the impression that either of you didn't enjoy many facets of it, but I think I more pleasantly landed on one side of it where I was like, oh, I do really like that they're exploring this, and I think this map has a lot of fantastic details. I think that the setup for this kind of scenario, this sort of next journey, this delve into the mind, these sort of topics, I do really like that, and I am intrigued by it, and I think there is something so fantastical and amazing about going down deeper into this, the core of the world, and this jade frozen in time, and there's such a cool setting in this that is so distinctive to Guild Wars 2 and that I just don't see in many other games with this particular kind of setting. So all of this is really cool, and it catches my imagination and it gets me going, and I am such a sucker for arcs that let you dive into any kind of emotional depth for your character and what it means to be a hero. I love those things. I love the facing your own inner demons arcs, and I oftentimes resonate the most with them, I think, because I've experienced that myself so much in my life. And how those can be some of the biggest, most terrifying, most daunting, and most personal challenges that any of us face as human beings as we navigate, grow, grieve, grapple with ourselves, discover things about ourselves, and confront even the darkest corners of ourselves and still carry on. And I think that that's something that I'm really excited about. Now, of course, I agree with everybody in that I think the meta was a nice little setup for part 1 of what I assume will be a 2-part, kind of like Drizzlewood, kind of like Biora. It felt very much like maybe a little bit more interesting than the first part that culminates in the ice construct in Biora Marches, that first half of the map that eventually leads to Drakkar. So I'm hoping that this has a great evolution, but I think the boss and the final chamber and stuff like that, fine, not that exciting, nothing that memorable. It's definitely no Dragon Stand, but at the same time, it's still something to run. I think there are still great moments in it, and I enjoyed that. And the story, for all that I think it was well delivered generally, I do agree with everybody in that I wish it was a bit longer. It's tough because I'm one of the ones that's on the side of, I think they're going to push to try and get this first new expansion format out this year. And I think if they don't do that, it will be a big problem.
I also agree. Yeah.
I'm really hoping that that is the plan, and that's why this is a bit shorter, that this really genuinely is meant to be a bridge into this new format, that we can roll into it, we can get into it, we can be surprised and delighted that we got something faster than expected with an expansion.
You're going to give me some you're bringing up some trauma from Michael Bryan saying that. Don't do it. Don't do it.
I think that would be the best case scenario, and I really hope that's why this was shorter. If it turns out that we're waiting another year for this new expansion cycle to start, I think people are going to really, really, really lose momentum, and I don't think this was enough to dig into. As it is, I think we needed more in general, because this is the first content we have actually post End of Dragons continuing the narrative. And if you're going to sell players on another 10 years of playing the game, you need to really double down and confirm, no, we are starting something new and you are going to be into it. And so I think in that case, in that kind of measurement, maybe it fell a little short. But again, I enjoyed this. I thought it was well done. I'm excited by the possibilities. I really liked the new map. I loved the characters that we got to spend time with in this, particularly Yao. And I just think it's a great cast, a great promise, a great start. But I really hope it's pushing us straight into momentum for something big this year. That's my hope, I think.
Okay. I will give you I'll try and shorten it. Thank you, Rick. I am gonna on a completely different side to everyone. I think other than Boots, who we haven't heard, I actually I agree with the shortness of it, for sure. I did definitely the end of it think, oh god, that was actually very short, and that's surprising. But I think that they have, coming from this and from where I am and what I do and how I work, and also mental health concerns as well, as Rook says and FORNAX says, and we all say in different ways as well, that it's a really good opportunity to do something with mental health and, like, you know, lower the stigma, talk about it, have it out there, like, and show people what it's about, like maybe even don't understand it. So the idea of psychoeducation for a lot of people through a game is just a wonderful thing that I hope they do and give justice to. I hope they've got some people that they're talking to about this. I know they work with Take This, who is a mental health organization as well at times. So I know they've got they've got the mental health heads there should they need them. And yeah, I really enjoyed the story. I love that last instance we were in. I think that's fantastic. Some choices of the character, yeah, sure. But I think in the end, the general message was, and the theme of this, with from the title to the literal, like, going into the delve, the name of the map, and where this could continue to, like, I've got the reason I got the map open on stream at the moment is because you can see, you know, there's going to be another half to it. It makes sense. I think this is going to be more than just 2 parts, and it's just a gut feeling, really. There isn't much evidence of that. I think this is going to be difficult. They've got the opportunity to tell one of the best stories in Guild Wars 2 that they've ever done, in my opinion, through mental health, and they've got a big responsibility to do this well. And I'm supporting them, and I just hope that the feedback they get is positive, so they continue down this path and they continue to play with these themes, because they're innovators. They innovate in their field in MMORPGs, and I feel like they can do this justice. So I'm with you. Also, absolutely love this patch for one of the biggest rewarding, like, changes that we've seen in Guild Wars 2 for a long time, along with World v World. Black Lion Statuette's Requisition Officer is huge. You can get a ton of stuff off of the Black Lion Statuette vendor now. There's free pages. You can now earn Black Lion Statuettes in the game by doing achievements for the first 4 weeks of the patch. Make sure you log in and get those done, because you need to hand in a bunch of items in the first week, and that's going to end probably Tuesday. And you can also get a build template in the rewards in the achievements. You can get loads of bits and bobs. I will show you, actually. Oh, I need to get out of this instance. Give me a second. But, like, it's really good. Like, you can get X stuff from the past, and it's like, oh, it's so good. Look at this. I'm gonna show you. Here we go. So they've got these items which were 60 statuettes before, and then they've got 45 and then 32 down to 25, I think. And there's different things like armor pieces, stuff which was in the actual Black Lion chest, like really specific armor sets. They've got skiff skins in there, weapon skins, loads of different stuff, which are really, really fantastic. So the festive iceberg and all that kind of stuff, but they'll go down in value after a while as well. So loads of great things coming out from that. So honestly, there was some really nice little mini kind of quality of life things that came into this patch as well. All in all, it was free as well. And I can't, I find it very difficult to argue with free. And in the long run, can you compare it? You can still compare it to past episodes. You can still be happy or sad about it. It doesn't invalidate how you feel about the thing. I think it was okay. I think they're brave for doing what they do and for what they're doing, and I think with that, I think it's one of my favorite patches, just because of that, honestly. Like, just because of that bravery for doing that in the first place. Boots, go for it. I'm pretty biased though. I will admit that. I'm pretty biased with that. That's okay.
Hey, can you hear me?
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your service.
I honestly, I have a lot of thoughts. I think they're kind of all jumbled up now. I like, as you guys were talking, I had like things to say about each thing, but now I feel like you've all kind of covered different aspects of things I was going to say, so I'm good.
No. You could, but general opinion. We still want your opinion. I would like to have your opinion of like whether you enjoyed it. Like we can't say that we've ever not.
I mean, I definitely enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I definitely think it was shorter than I expected because. I remember last episode we were talking about this upcoming episode, what we thought of its importance, considering the blog post. And I think we all agreed that it was an important episode to kind of set the tone of what we can expect going forward. And if the length of this episode is what we could expect going forward for quarterly releases, then I'm not that enthused. But otherwise, I thought the quality of the episode was good. Not like the quantity, small. The quality was good. There were certain things like, like the design of the map. I love the beauty of the map. And the figurative push of the map going downwards, like relating to the storyline. I love that as well. The fact that the map is so heavily tied to the meta event, so it kind of like goes against exploration of the map is a bit of a qualm for me, like because I like exploration of the game, and this map is rife, like you feel like you want to explore it, but because you're kind of like blocked off because of the meta in a lot of situations, it's counterintuitive. So there's like good aspects and bad aspects of this episode for sure. The meta finale also, I wished it was a little bit more impactful, but that's fine too. I'd say it was a good patch. I would say though that it was, if we put it on a litmus test of like hoping that the rest of the episodes going forward are like it, I would have wanted more.
Fair. I'm really interested to see how the meta gets adjusted for this, because I feel like it's going to. I'm not sure if it's going to continue from the bottom, or you're like if they're even going to continue it, or if it's just going to be a separate one. I don't know. There's just so many ways they could do this, so that I'm interested. I'm excited for this.
Supposedly, we're making our way out of the mine and back up.
Ooh, okay, that's interesting. I wonder.
Ascent, the metaphorical and physical ascent.
There are a couple walls at the very end, which are obvious doorways and passageways to the next part of the map.
True. Okay, cool. All right, chat. Be interested to know your thoughts, but I think what we might do next week is we might talk about this a little bit more and play the meta. We might play the meta as well. We'll see what else comes out. I'm also wondering about I
do want to say one more thing.
Yeah, sure, go on.
For the subject matter of this, beside, I think you very well covered the PTSD and mental health aspects of it, and I don't want to retread that. But I will say, I am very interested in the subject matter of the in-lore stuff of this episode as well. I really do want to delve into, the origin and the origin of demons and how they relate to the myths and all that. That's something I'm really, really, really interested in, Tyria. And I hope that we, in these possibly only 2 episodes that might be covering it, we get something substantial on it, but we'll see. We'll see.
Okay. Any other final words as well? Thank you, Boys, for that. Appreciate it. Oh, I think we're good. That went quick. Always love playing through and getting everyone's opinions on this, and I'm glad that we all don't have I like disagreement, not disagreement, but different ways of just being happy, doing things, sad, maybe this is okay. That's all right. Okay. Otherwise, I think we're gonna be done there. Let people live their lives and move forward. Rookery, tell us what you do, where you do it. As we go home.
Yep, you can find me on Twitch at Rookery. That's ROOKURI. You can also find me on YouTube at the same, and you can find me on Twitter at Rookery_. Keep it short and sweet because Boots gotta go do dinner.
Okie dokie. Kroof, tell us what you do, where you do it.
Hi everyone, I'm on YouTube at Kroof, also Twitch here at Kroof_. Thank you so much.
Boots, tell us what you do and where you do it.
Hi, I'm Boots. You could find me at World of Enders on YouTube. Thank you.
Was that a moose? Was that a moose voice?
Yes, that was
Boots
the moose.
Okay, I was just checking. Okay.
Yes.
I think you should do a stream entirely in that voice. I think
Yes.
I would give you money to do that.
Oh, sure. Absolutely, I would do that.
And finally, but not fourth. I don't know, not that bit, but finally, not fourthly.
Me.
The FORNAX of aka the Crichton Herald, aka Destroyer of Souls and Dreams.
Yes. I'm FORNAX. I'm the Crichton Herald. I make Guild Wars 2 content on YouTube and occasionally talk to these lovely people. And I'm talking to Rookery tomorrow on a Final Fantasy podcast. So.
Yes, both you and Kroof I've roped you both into coming on the podcast.
Final Fantasy, that'll be fun.
Nice, cool.
Yeah. You can find us over on Aetheryte Radio, which is on twitch.tv Gamer Escape, or on the Gamer Escape YouTube after the fact. But yeah, we're going to be talking about like other MMO players coming into 14. And I immediately thought of both you and Kroof because you've both been talking about how you've been trying 14 or gotten pretty far into it. And I'm really excited to hear like what you think about it and your experiences.
Wow. Didn't think about Jebro, who's been playing for so far.
Oh,
just forgotten everyone.
I mean, at least I feel like I was excluded because I don't play Final Fantasy. Oh, except
it's not. That's not the reason, because I play as well. So you know, it's okay.
That's what I'm saying. At least I feel good.
Playing.
I feel fine. But you feel
I'm
terrible,
sorry.
Jebro.
I've got to be honest. I genuinely forgot you.
It's okay. Brooke just forgot me. It's fine.
So
it's all right. I've only included you for 80 episodes of my podcast. It's fine. It's fine.
Look. I'll check into it, Jeb. And besides, I was looking at doing a series of
no. It's fine. It's fine.
No, you know. I will get you on one. I will get you on one, Jebro Unity.
It's okay, everyone. I'm not hurt. So
I kind of don't believe that.
I'm so sorry.
Very drama vibes going on right now.
I'm so sorry. I forgot.
Okay, now I'm leaving. I'm trying to find the outro.
Jebro, aka Detective Rama.
Oh yeah, that's it. I'm Detective Rama. Oh, God, no friends.
Nobody loves you. Oh, no.
I know. It's so upsetting. I'm going now. Goodbye, everyone.
I'm hungry.
Oh wow, so sensitive. Everyone, on the side note, please twitch.tv/JebroUnity. Come and watch the Lightbringers podcast on Friday around about 1 p.m. Pacific. If you want to support any of our wonderful friends who came on the podcast today, please check in the description if you're on YouTube or anything else, as well as on anchor.fm/JebroUnity, where you can find the podcast. You can check all bits and bobs in there. That's not euphemism. And yeah, twitch.tv/JebroUnity. If you want to check out Patreon, all the other things. If you do want to subscribe and all the stuff on Twitch Live, thank you very much. Live people who contribute to the chat and everything else, thank you so much as well. And if you do want to come join us, Fridays 1 p.m. Pacific, you know what to do. Otherwise, thank you to our guests and everyone as well. And we will see you next time on the Lightbringers podcast. Bye bye for now. Thanks so much for watching. See you soon.